welcome to today's live. It's gonna be fun. I'm going to be painting or continuing to work on this Kate Spade bag that I started yesterday, and also going to just be sharing some CEO lessons I've been learning in real time, and just, you know, sharing some advice for some people who are artists or creative professionals and want to turn their creative gifts into a business model that can actually get them paid opportunities. So I just want to share some stuff I've been learning, and just a few lessons from my journey as a founder and an artist. I think there's this like misconception that being an artist who wants to make money means that you're a sellout, and it's like, baby, are you dumb, or are we not all living in a capitalist society? Artists gotta eat. Okay, art is not free. Artists, you know, take time and take energy and use resources, so artists deserve to be compensated, and I strongly believe that. I want to empower people to challenge the myth of the struggling or starving artist, so to speak. And so yeah. I'm gonna turn down the music just a little bit, but today, before we get started on like talking about all that stuff, like challenging the whole starving artist myth, challenging, you know, this ideology that painting and, you know, creative production is just something that artists don't need to get paid for. Like, that's a lie. People will pay you for your artwork. People will pay you to be, honestly, like, to bring your creativity into their space. It just takes a mindset shift on the part of the artist. So hi Mama, thank you for tuning in. Hey y'all, welcome. So we're just getting started here. I'll be painting this bag. I started this yesterday, so it's just this Kate Spade bag that I had from a long time ago. It was like one of my first big girl job purchases back in like 2019. And so I'm gonna finish painting this portrait on the back and then paint, I don't know if I'm gonna paint like a portrait on the front, but we'll decide what we want to do. But then in the meantime, I also want to be sharing some lessons from my journey, because I did a bit of pitching today, some selling today, and just selling and getting into the energy of like selling and knowing your worth and knowing your value proposition as an artist is a game changer. It really is a game changer. And so I just want to like share some of those lessons that I've been learning, and hopefully offer some tips for people who are artists, who, you know, want to make money and who want to do partnerships with brands and who want to, you know, get their art out there. But yeah, so we're gonna paint this. Okay, so let's check into the chat. Hey y'all. Hi Anel, welcome. I hope you guys, oh yeah, also subscribe. I go live every weekday at 3 p.m. from my art studio for now. Eventually I'll be moving into a larger studio and retail space, but definitely subscribe. Okay, Joran Joseph says, where are you now? I'm in Atlanta. What's up, ATL? Okay, where are you? Where are you now? I'm in my art studio though. I'm in my art studio. Drinking some tea. Okay, but before we start, I am going to I want to light some Palo Santo, and also probably just like, oh, sorry y'all. Also just open a window. Real quick. Ooh. Okay. Get some air circulating while I light up the Palo Santo and set an intention, as we always do. So I think today's intention is to be bold and to be brave, because as artists, the world always tries to kind of stun us. Like even today, I had a conversation, it was good, with like a prospective client or whatever, and that went well. That went well. But then I had another, like there was somebody I know or I met like a couple weekends ago, and he claimed to be an investor in the place that I had been at. And he was like, yeah, I'm one of the investors in the place. I said, okay, cool. So I wanted to pitch that place for an event, like a live painting event or art installation. And this guy is like, oh, I don't know the owner like that. I'm like, how are you an investor but you don't know the owner? So that's another thing that I think artists, women artists we deal with, men will try to like, I don't know, like be deceptive to, or say like, oh, I want to buy your art, but they don't really want to buy your art. They just want to have access to you. Or they'll say, oh, yeah, I own this place, da, 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 da. If you say, you kind of want to do work with the place, and they don't actually. So I think as women artists, we also have to be on our P's and Q's. And I will talk about that too, like just how to avoid being exploited and manipulated. Yeah, but anyways, some Palo Santo, setting the intention. Today is going to be a really great live. I just pray that God can speak through me today's live and use me. And also, I just pray that everybody who joins this live will be in touch with their divinity and just know that God loves them and that they are created for something beautiful and special. So that's today's intention. Clearing the air, clearing the air. Okay. I'm ready to get started. So let's check into the chat. Maddie says, girl, you are so pretty. Thank you, Maddie. Thanks, beautiful. Okay. So if you just joined, we are painting this bag, and it's a Kate Spade bag. Old bag. I was going to donate it. I was going to get rid of it, but then I was like, you know what? I'm launching my wearable art commissions very soon through my fashion line. Why not paint a bag and show you guys what it can look like? So we're gonna get started on that. Let me shift some things around, but okay. CEO lessons. I'd say the first thing I want to talk about is selling. I was going to say selling and then sales at the same time, but selling and the art of sales. So this book, as you can see, I've been reading this book called Gap Selling, and I think it's very important for artists to know how to sell themselves and like how to define their value proposition, how to have a clear MVP, minimum viable product, if you're doing art as a business. Okay, now if you're doing art as a hobby, maybe sometimes you like sell your art to people, or maybe you don't even sell your art. This might not resonate with you, and that's totally cool. Like, it's fine to do art as a hobby. However, if you're doing art as a business, like this is a business model, you intend to open a space to sell your art, or you intend to like maybe even open up your own gallery, your own studio, or like do brand partnerships or things like that. Knowing how to sell is very important, and getting comfortable. So there's another book I have. I don't have it here with me, but I'm still reading this book, and my goal is to finish reading this book before the end of the month because I kind of just put it to the wayside. Hi, Monica. Welcome. Hey. Okay, so yeah, let me get started painting. So yesterday we worked on the face, and today I'm going to be working on the hair, and then we're going to switch to the front. Now for the hair, I don't know. I don't know like exactly how I want to do it. I think I want to start off with some violet, some purple, and then go from there. I think it'll look good on, I don't want it to clash with the pink of the bag. So that's just my only concern. The bag is a little old though. Like, I don't know. Maybe I wonder if like Kate Spade can have some type of warranty that they can clean the inside. But yeah, I'm gonna get started on the hair and go from there. So let me get one of my palettes and oh my goodness. All right. But to those of y'all who are here right now, thank you so much. Where are y'all joining in from? I'm very curious. Okay, so I'm going to use this palette today because I want a lot of space to mix and stuff. Yeah, let's get started with that one. Okay, but yeah, I don't even know, like I feel like I'm just really buzzed today. Yesterday I was a little bit in my feelings, and I vented a little bit about just the difficulties I've encountered with just like making genuine friendships and connections in Atlanta. And I think like, it was nice to kind of get that off my chest a little bit, But today I woke up with this renewed sense of like motivation and appreciation for Atlanta, because Atlanta is a successful black city, and I think it has its cons and it has its things that like I'm like, oh, that's very frustrating. But at the end of the day, it's still a great city. Like I still love Atlanta, but yesterday I did have to get some things off my chest as an artist, like just some of the issues that I think I faced. Okay, so I'm going to mix in the fabric medium. I'm starting off with purple. So hi y'all, if you're just joining, we're painting this bag today. But yeah, like I feel like, you know, yesterday, so what I tend to do as an artist, like when I get a little bit in my feelings about stuff, I like to watch shows or documentaries, I should say, documentaries or like interviews of my favorite artists. And one of my favorite musicians is a singer called Abra. She's like also known as the Dark Wave Duchess. She's very like indie, alternative R&B, very like synthy. And she was signed to Awful Records, which is like, if you know anything about the underground music scene in Atlanta, that was like Father and well, I think Playboy Cardi at some point was also part of Awful Records before he like, you know, blew up and everything. But I watched Abra's interview and that just renewed my sense of self. And so I put all of the feelings that I was feeling, I produced a song last night. I just stayed up and put it in a song, and I was like, okay, this made me feel so much better. And it just reminded me that like Atlanta is a place where I can be something. I can be, you know, who I am. I just have to make sure I get into my right spaces with genuine people who respect my artistry and my value. Which brings me to what I was talking about earlier. So yeah, like as a woman artist, I just feel like sometimes men will act like they want to buy our art or act like they want to like help us, but they really don't. They want to sleep with you. They want to date you, and they're using that as an in. And it can be very annoying, but I think a way to deal with that is to just, you know, I don't know, like I feel like men don't have to worry about this, like being sexualized while literally just trying to do their job. But women, especially as artists, we can get like, is the word fetishized? I don't even know if that's the word I'm looking for. But yeah, there's like just an element of people trying to like, especially men trying to be like, oh, your little art thing that you do, like, you know that word, that little da 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 da, like that kind of thing. Like I was just talking to this guy briefly who claimed to be an investor in a like nightlife space that I wanted to work with. And I recently went and I was like, oh, this is a cool vibe. Like I would love to do some type of art installation here or something. Let me, you know, talk to the owner and see if that's something they'd be open to. So also just showing y'all what it's looking like. I kind of want her to have like a goddess, otherworldly type of vibe, if that makes sense. So yeah, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe. I do this every weekday. But anyways, so I'm talking to the guy and I was like, he told me that he was an investor, but now he's saying he doesn't know the owner. So I'm like, okay, liar. Like, and that's what I was talking about, like the spirit of deception in Atlanta. Like everybody wants to portray themselves as, oh, big guy, oh God, but it's like you're not the oh God of the place. Like, why are you lying? And so I said, you know, before I realized that, okay, this guy doesn't even know the owner for real, I was like, okay, this is the website where you can buy my art or like view my art, which if you want to buy my art, www.AlaereLifestyle.com, pretty much my YouTube name.com. But anyway, Sean, let me get back to my story. So I just feel like we on FaceTime right now. Like, let me just tell y'all, this stuff the BS. Okay, so then he's like, oh, these are just virtual images. Do you have like actual physical renditions? And I'm like, you fucking idiot. Like, excuse my French, but I'm like, you are a bloody idiot because duh, of course it's virtual depictions. That's called e-commerce. Like, if you go on a store, you're going to just see the virtual depiction of the products. It doesn't mean that the product isn't real. But I realized, I was like, it's a form of negging, if you ask me, that happens in like business spaces where sometimes men will try to downplay what I do, and I'm like, I'm gonna stop you right there and let you know I have done art shows and book talks at places that you would never even access. So let's calm down. But I think like as a woman, when you encounter stuff like that, peep it and don't even further engage. Like, don't try to prove yourself and your worth and your value of your work to people who just were never going to see it in the first place. And that's something that another founder of, I think it's called Folklore. It's like a virtual marketplace for, I want to say like African artisans. And the founder was speaking on a panel that I attended during AfriCon, the conference. Like, this was like a few weeks ago. And on the panel, this founder of Folklore, she was talking about how like during pitching, because I think they raised a lot of money during their seed rounds. And if you've been part of the Alaere Book Club, we've been talking a lot about the venture capital space and just accessing business funding and things like that. And she was like saying, don't even waste your time pitching to people who, like, if you're an African artist or whatever, or like an African artisan or founder, and you want to do things that involve Africa, don't even waste your time pitching to people who don't see the value in Africa in the first place. And I think that advice, I think it applies here as well for women artists. Like, don't even waste your time trying to explain your value to people who don't, like, they were never going to see it. They were never going to understand. So don't even waste your time. Don't even waste your energy. Go where you're celebrated. Go where you're respected. And honestly, go where you're understood. I think especially as artists, you know, we can feel misunderstood a lot. And I think a way that I deal with that is I just focus on creating value for communities that value me. You know what I mean? Like, so here, for example, on YouTube, I feel like y'all vibe with my work and y'all vibe with what I'm doing. And that's all that matters to me. Also, I'm like trying to paint around the handles, and it's just, it's interesting. I might paint the handles too, but I'll do that later, because it seems like I'm already getting paint on them. It's okay. We're gonna just turn this whole bag into like an art piece, and I'm really excited about it. Which, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. I go live every weekday at 3 p.m. from my studio. But yeah, like, I think that's just something that is, it's anecdotal for sure. You know, that experience being a woman and having men kind of like not take you seriously or trying to downplay what you do when it's your job. Like, this is not my little hobby. It's my business. It's registered. Been doing it for 3 years. And, you know, I think that as artists, like, we just have to stand our ground. Like, another thing that will happen that you'll probably encounter is people not wanting to pay you for your work. Just, I think with that, you know, go to the people or sell to the people who can afford you. I remember I was watching this business channel, and they were like, the business channel was basically saying it's easier to sell to rich people than it is to poor people. And I mean, I know that statement is a little bit problematic, but let's break it down in regards to art. Okay, so let's check into the chat. Hi, Pedro. Thank you for, contributing to the chat. I hope you subscribe. Welcome, welcome. Today I'm just painting in my studio. I'm painting a bag. We're still working on the hair, but yesterday we worked on the face. And yeah, it's a cute little Kate Spade bag. And I feel like this bag was looking so old to me, and I was like, I need to give it a new life. And I honestly feel like I'm already falling back in love with the bag. But anyways, I'm just sharing some lessons and thoughts I've learned from my journey as an artist and business owner. So yeah, but okay. So we've talked about, let's see, what have we talked about so far? We've talked a little bit about men trying to stun you and stuff like that as a woman artist, which can be very annoying, but it is what it is. We've talked about, I was just talking about when people don't want to pay you. Yeah, so go to the spaces where your value and your price point is expected, if that makes sense, okay? And so what I mean by that is like, how do I put it? I don't want to sound problematic, because I think that art is something that everybody gets to experience. However, that doesn't mean that everybody deserves to, just have your art for free. Like, I don't agree with that. I think that, like any other job, like any other profession, artists deserve to get paid. It doesn't make you a sellout to want to get paid for your artwork or to want to get paid for your artistry. And there are people who value art enough to want to pay you. They are out there. So the people who want to start bargaining, like, oh, your art is $300, can you make it $100? Like, just direct them to Walmart, direct them to Target, and let them know, hey, you know what, this may not be aligned, but these are some stores that probably have what you're looking for in that price point. And if they really want what you have to offer, they will pay it. It's kind of like dating. Like, if a guy, or let's say a guy wants to date you, right? You're a woman, because I feel like I primarily have women on my channel. But let's say like a guy wants to date you and he's like, oh, I don't like to do XYZ, and that's something that you really like to do. You'll just like be like, okay, maybe we're not aligned, and just wait to date the guy that likes to do the thing that you like to do. That's it. And I think the same thing can be said for running an art business. Like, some people are just not going to want to pay certain things. That doesn't mean that you now lower your price, or you stop, offering the value that you offer in the way that you do. You just share it with somebody else who wants to pay. Like, I've had pieces sell that literally another person has said, oh, that's too expensive. And then another person is like, oh, you need to raise your prices. Like, it really is all subjective. So yeah, like, it really is all subjective. I think it also goes down to knowing the target audience for your artwork, and also thinking about, the consumer communities that you inhabit as well. Like, for me, I know I've paid some good money for like a really high quality leather bag. Like, I've paid $400 or like $500 for a good high quality investment piece. And because I've done that, I know people will do it as well. Like, I know people who, if they want something, they're gonna spend their money on it. And then I know people who, they will pinch pennies, and it's like, but even if they can't afford something. So it all just goes down to, like, when you're selling your art, know who is willing to spend that money anyways, and just go where they are. Okay, so yeah, I'm just sharing some lessons. Like, it took me time to learn some of this stuff, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I founded my company in 2023, and I think back then I just wanted to do it for everybody. And the thing is, as a business owner, not even just as an artist, your product is not going to be for every single person. Like, you have to have some type of like an avatar. So I used to work in corporate advertising and marketing and PR. And in advertising, I remember I was working at an agency in New York called McCann. You have to have the avatar of who is most likely to embody the identity of your target customer. And with art, it gets, a little bit more complicated, I guess, because it's not a straightforward regulated industry. It is a multi-billion-dollar industry though, so there's definitely money to be made in the art world, but it's not like as clear cut as, say, tech or something. But yeah, that avatar will help guide your marketing and help you kind of avoid low vibrational experiences as an artist and business owner, because if you know you're selling to a mid-tier or luxury consumer, you're not going to go and do an art fair at like, your local Target or something. Like, you're just not going to. Maybe you might do a pop-up at a luxury mall instead, or like in an area where people are already spending that kind of money. So, it doesn't make you a sellout as an artist to think strategically. Listen, y'all, I'm a big proponent of strategy, especially for a woman. I think we have to be strategic when it comes to business, because no one is going to hold your hand, unfortunately. A lot of people will rather, I know this sounds kind of like negative, but I promise it's not. Like, it's just to kind of give you an idea of this is the reality, but you get to make your own world. Like, I'm the kind of person where I understand, okay, fine, this is a patriarchal world order, like whatever. That's how the world is. But my world that I'm creating with my art and my creativity and my, my essence, my world is going to be different. And this is how I'm going to engage with that world to create the world of my dreams. I hope that makes sense. And as artists, we are literally aligned because we engage in creation every day. We are aligned, like very potently aligned with the energy of God consciousness, because creator mode, that's an energetic alliance with your divinity. Like, you are accessing your higher self every time you create artwork and every time you create something out of nothing. Like, you are tapping into God consciousness because God is the divine creator and God is in you. So when you express that through your art, that's what you're doing. And so it's not something to play with. It really isn't. And I feel like just because modern society wants to devalue it doesn't mean that you have to. Like, you have the power to create a new world for yourself, for your future generations, and just also for the world at large. Okay? So anyways, this is what we're looking like now. Ooh, I like this. I'm just kind of like filling in the sections that I created. This is her hair. Her hair is purple, very Justine Skye. Like, do y'all remember when Justine Skye, maybe you don't even know who that is, but she's a singer. I remember in her Tumblr days, her hair used to be pink. Or no, it used to be purple. And it was really cool. But anyways, yeah, like, I just feel like, there's a lot of condescension that is targeted towards artists. And I want my platform to be a space where people who are creative and who have creative aspirations can know, like, okay, just because that person doesn't believe in you and like doesn't believe in what you're doing doesn't mean you then have to not believe in yourself. Like, you are God consciousness. You are a divine creator, and nobody gets to tell you who you are. Nobody gets to tell you who you can be and who you have the capacity to become. That's for you to decide. And I think that once you like get into that mindset as an artist, it makes sales and pitching and everything, it makes it so much easier. And it took me time to develop that confidence in relation to my artwork. And like, even last year when I started doing art shows and stuff like that, like, I was just like, whoa, how do I do this? How do I do that? And like, I think I realized it was more of an energy thing. It was more of a mindset thing. Because a lot of the opportunities found me. instead of me like having to seek them out. So yeah, just a lesson. I think that's more of an energy mindset thing. But let me know in the comments, like, if you are an artist yourself and you've been navigating that. Like, I'm very curious to, engage with other creatives. Like, even if you're not a visual artist like me, like, whatever you do, writing, everything. Like, I'm also an author, and I think when I was publishing my book, it really took me some time to like embody that essence. I remember I did a book signing event in Dallas. I want to say this was like a couple of years ago. And I sold out all the inventory of my book that they had in the bookstore. And I was just like, I think like I was kind of in a state of disbelief for some time because one, I'm young, and I was like, how do I now scale this? Like, how do I get more people to take me seriously and all of this stuff? And I think like what I've learned is the best thing you can do as an artist and as a creative professional is to just kind of stay in the present. Like, it's very nice to have goals and stuff, and I'll talk about that a little bit more, like the importance of being able to plan, strategic planning, being able to do a SWOT analysis and all of that stuff, like in relation to your creative business. But I think like for me, I realized, okay, you have to be in the present in order to create the value that will attract people and attract the opportunities. Because if you spend too much time thinking, oh, how can I do this in the future and all of this stuff, it's like it takes you out of the present mode, which is the only reality is now. Like, everything exists in the now. That version of you that has the success and all of that stuff, it already exists in the now, if that makes sense. And so you just have to like show up as that person in your present moment. But I think sometimes like society conditions us to get so locked into thinking about like the future. It's like, when people are like, oh, time isn't real, this, and this. I think that's what they mean. Like, it's like the now is where you are, where you exist. And like the moment you decide to be successful in something, you are there. You just have to now align your actions and align your mindset with it. And like, I think as an artist, it can be tough because, we live in a society that doesn't necessarily value art as much as it should, but there are pockets of society that do. They are there, and they will find you. Like, they're looking for you. Like, enter the mindset that the places I'm meant to be in, they are seeking me. Like, what I seek seeks me. Okay, so this is what it's looking like so far. I think I'm gonna add some blue. Also, it got really windy all of a sudden, so I'm gonna lower my window a little bit. Ooh, my eye. Oh no. I feel like, yeah, it was getting windy. I had my window open and I was like, I feel like something just like, the breeze blew something into my eye. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do some blue. Okay, so I'm thinking for the blue, we might do like a deep teal or something. Yeah, just to add like a pop of color. I'm trying to see like how will it look. Yeah. I think that. Okay, let's see. What else have I been learning? I feel like I've just been learning so much. Oh yeah, just start. A lot of stuff like, so when I was watching Abra, one of my favorite artists last night, and she's from Atlanta too. And she's like a indie, like alternative artist, Black woman as well, like me. And I was like, yeah, like I vibe with this. I really do vibe with what she's saying. But she had this quote that really stuck out to me. And she was just basically saying, you don't have to be a professional to start something. Start it and keep doing it, and that's how you get better. And I feel like that's the biggest lesson I've learned in these last few years as an artist. Like, you just have to start. Let's see. Liesl! Hey! Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you on the lives in so long. It's very good to have you back. What's up, girl? How are you? Today I'm painting this Kate Spade bag. It's an old bag. It was one of my first bags that I bought when I had my first big girl job out of college, and so I wanted to donate this, but then I was like, actually, I'm gonna paint it, and because I'm launching my wearable art commissions, I want it to kind of be an example that I can show to people, do a little photo shoot, you know. But yeah, so this is what it's looking like. We're still working on it, but it's good to have you back. How are you? I'm also sharing some lessons I've been learning from my journey as an artist and business owner, because, you know, specifically as a Black woman, African woman, first, like, you know, all the identities, and it's like very intersectional. And I think like honoring the intersectionality of your experience without letting it bog you down, I think is really important. And what I mean by that is, I think, how do I put this? I've never viewed my gender or my race or my ethnic background as a hindrance. Like, I've never thought, oh, life is so hard because I'm a Black woman. Like, no. I think what I've thought is, like, I view the world and I see what is happening in the world, and I see these systems, I see, you know, racism, I see sexism, I see all of that, and I'm aware of it, and I allow my awareness of that. I don't allow it to dictate how I view myself, but instead I just say, okay, you know what, then I'm going to adjust my strategy. If I know that I have to deal with like sexism or whatever in this industry, I'm going to arm myself with knowledge. I'm going to arm myself, like, it just helps me strengthen my strategy on some Cleopatra shit. Like, I'm like looking like, okay, you know what, this is what I'm up against. Cool. That's your problem. It's not mine. I'm not going to make it my problem. I'm just going to become somebody who can transcend that, if that makes sense. Okay. Liesl says, wow, that's amazing. Thank you. Yeah, I really am liking how it's turning out. So I'm just kind of going over the pink sections a little bit more. Yeah. Eric Mackerson says, good afternoon, Myla. Hello, Eric. Hi, Miranda. Says, hey, girl, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you. I hope you are too. A heart right back at you. So yeah, today I'm just like painting my bag and sharing some business lessons, like CEO lessons that I've been learning. But yeah, going back to arming myself with knowledge, I talk about this a lot in the first issue of the Alaere Manifesto magazine, my official magazine. I'm actually so excited. So the thing is, I am still finalizing some things in the issue, but this will be the November issue. So I'm gonna release it by the end of October so y'all can have it. And it's primarily a digital magazine, but I'll have a limited amount of print copies to sell as well. But if you wanna, you know, buy the digital copy, like, that's pretty easy. And then if you want one of like what I'll call the collector's editions, I'll have a limited amount of copies. But I do talk about this in an essay that I wrote for the magazine called Fendi or Foucault. And in that essay, I just talk about like how beauty and brains can be a very lethal combination for women, and arming yourself with knowledge, especially in your industry, especially if you're, you know, going up against systems that are very sexist or discriminatory. Your mind can really, like, having a strategic mind, kind of think about it like chess, like being able to be one step ahead can be very, very important. That combined with like looking good, oh honey, you can make some waves in this world. Society is scared of beautiful women with really sharp minds. Okay. Mohammed Karoma says, hi Mohammed. Mohammed says, I love you. Oh my God, these comments are taking me out. I love you, your face. Oh, thank you, Mohammed. How can you love a stranger online? How can you love somebody that easily? That is so funny to me. Okay, but thank you though. Thank you, my brother. Okay, so I'm just like going over these areas a little bit more, and then I think I'm gonna go in with the blue. But yeah, just also, you know, just sharing some real-time thoughts on some things that I am experiencing. Ooh, I just had an idea that just like made me jump up. Okay, so I'm thinking, what if I put the blue here? Wait, not here. But like, what if I put the blue here, like on this part of the bag? I think that could be cool. So I might have to like, I think what I might do is I'm gonna put a pop of this blue on her eyes and then also put it up here. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. But I just want to finish this pink paint because I don't want to waste it. So I'm just kind of like going over and over and over some of these sections. But thanks y'all for being here. I hope you subscribe, join the community. Also another thing, so you know how I said yesterday I was feeling like in my feelings, and then I got over it when I was watching Abra and stuff, and she was talking about how she used to just produce music when she quit her job and moved back home, and I was like, oh my gosh, me too. So I've been producing music again, and that's been really fun. I sing, and like I used to perform a lot. Like I used to be in an a cappella group in college. I did musical theater and all of that. And so I miss doing that. Let me keep the bag visible while I drink my tea, a little tea break. But yeah, I miss doing that. And I think like just having a hobby that I love for fun, because art used to be my hobby and then now it's my job. Writing used to be my hobby. Now that's also my job. So I'm like, ooh, I need another creative outlet that like I can just do. Okay, Big Kirk says hello. Love your look. Thank you. Thanks. I appreciate that. I hope you subscribe. And also, oh wait, I forgot to pin my website, y'all, so y'all can know where to buy my artwork. I always forget this, but you know, every day is a new day of learning how to navigate this whole like content thing. Okay, let me pin that so y'all can see it. Okay, I'm so happy to have y'all here. Like every time I come on live, it fills me with so much joy. And yeah, oh, Big Kirk says beautiful smile. Thank you, I appreciate that. Okay, so I'm about to just pin my website so y'all can know like where to buy my artwork and everything. And actually, okay, we're gonna pause. We're gonna do a little commercial. We're gonna do a little commercial. So I do sell prints of my artwork. Here are some examples. This is one of my prints. This is No Letting Go. They're all limited edition, high quality, archival quality Giclée prints, and they ship framed. You can also buy unframed versions, but primarily I do ship them framed from my online gallery. And so this is No Letting Go. And I'll show you guys another one. This is from the same collection. Have You Ever Loved is the title of this work. Let's see, what else? And then I'll show you a third one. And then this one is called Rivers Girl. So yeah, these are some of my pieces that you can purchase at my website. And yeah, every piece that you buy gets me closer to opening a physical space where we can have these conversations in person and, you know, do programming and all of that stuff. So yeah, okay. Just had to give that. Oh, also, if you're like, I want to support you, take care, Big Kirk. Thank you. if you're like, I want to support you, but I can't afford the artwork right now, you can also cash out my business and you'll be able to get a small print of my artwork. And for any gifts of $20 or more, you'll be eligible to win I'm gonna do a raffle in a few weeks. Once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm gonna do a raffle where y'all can purchase, or where y'all can win a large painting valued at over 5K. Okay. Let me put the website. I'm sorry, these kids just ran into my yard. I said, what are y'all doing? Okay, anyway. Like, that totally took me off guard. Okay. So I'm putting it in the chat where y'all can buy everything. Sorry, I'm like trying to format it correctly. Oh, Big Kirk says amazing artwork. Thank you, I appreciate that. Okay. So I just put that in the chat and I'm gonna pin it so y'all can see. Okay. Alrighty, so let's check in. This is what it's looking like. So I had the idea, like, let me put the blue elsewhere, but low key, I kind of want to add a pop of orange. I just feel like my spirit is telling me, the ancestors are speaking to me saying, girl, put a pop of orange. So I think what I'll do is I'll make the earrings orange. So I just have like a little bit left of the purple pinkish paint. I don't want to waste it. Like I said, I hate wasting paint. But yeah, this is what it's looking like so far. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see me create wearable art every weekday at 3 p.m. Y'all are seeing me grow my art and fashion brand in real time. And I feel like this is kind of like my own personal archive for me as well. Like, I love sharing this with y'all, and I hope that it can inspire my fellow artists to share their work, especially in the times we're in. It does bring a lot of people joy. Like, I think, you know, the comments about my work and stuff like that bring me joy, but I'm also realizing, okay, people value a dose of positivity on their feeds, especially when everything can feel so, negative. So yeah, it just makes me very happy to share this, and I'm excited for when I do like finally launch officially my wearable art line. I mean, I do have my 100% Napa leather hobo bags that I sell, and I have my art t-shirts from organic cotton that I sell as well. But I think hand painted, like when I say my wearable art line, I mean like hand painted fashion that is like custom, one of a kind, pretty much a walking canvas of art. Like, if I, hold on, let me stand up and see what this is looking like. Like, just so far, like if I were to walk around with this, like, I know I wouldn't see anybody else wearing this, and that makes me very happy, because I think that fashion right now is so boring. Everybody is wearing the same thing. Everybody is like looking the same. I blame TikTok, but I think originality is coming back. Like, I think it's the spirit of artistic, aesthetic rebellion. I love it. I talk about all this in my magazine, Alaere Manifesto. So the November issue is launching very soon, and I'm just really excited about that. Okay. Enough yapping. Let's get to painting. Okay, so I'm gonna look and see if I want to just do the earrings, or if I also want to do, if I want to put orange in her hair. Actually, no, I don't want to put orange in her hair. I'm going to put orange for the earrings. But I think I might have just used a little bit too much paint. So I'm going to add the fabric medium. And this helps, keep it on the material. Okay, let me throw that away. Alrighty. Alrighty. Let's see. Uh-oh. I want to like turn up the music just a little bit because I feel like we're that's so loud. I feel like we're vibing. But I'm also like, I want to find sorry, I'm like on my laptop reading some stuff. Okay. Alrighty, I think this vibe is okay. I think this vibe can work for now. I'm sorry, remember the story I was talking about, the guy who was like, oh, these are just digital like renditions of your work when it's the product photos on my page? I'm like, you're an idiot. Because the artwork is like, this is why I'm telling y'all, like as artists, especially as women, you have to just work with people who already understand the art world. Like, I don't understand. Okay, so I'm gonna do orange as the base of the earrings, but this is what it's looking like right now. I hope that y'all can see me, because every time, sometimes I just feel like it's like very annoying because sometimes the Wi-Fi works and then sometimes it doesn't. And then so I use 5G and then sometimes I feel like that doesn't work. Okay, I think it's fine. So this is what I'm doing right now. I'm just like adding to the earrings. But yeah, I think like being an artist, there's definitely that energetic balance of pitching versus allowing opportunities to come to you. Yeah, I just feel like my best opportunities, like the TikTok art show and all of that, that found me. I did not apply to that. Like I was selected for that, but then I feel like for opportunities where I've sought it out, they've always been some of my worst experiences. Like people who I'm like, I really could have gone my whole life never having to interact with this person and I would have been fine. So I don't know, it's definitely a balance. Like I feel like energetically, I feel like my intuition is telling me to just focus on just creating and sharing and letting the opportunities come to me. And like, I feel like I have some really cool people in this community who always, one, hype me, thank you. Like, I appreciate that. But then also it's like, y'all give me some really cool ideas about how to share my artwork with more people, which I love that. But if you're in a city and there's like a cool restaurant or cool like coffee shop or just like a cool venue, a cool hangout spot, like maybe even if it's like a space where people do live music and you're like, oh my gosh, I would love to have your artwork there. Y'all can also help me out by being ambassadors and saying, hey, here's this artist named Odemi Pesu and she owns this brand, Alaere Lifestyle. Could she do an art show here? Like, there's my favorite artist that, does art shows. Cause like, I was telling my mom this, like, it really helps when people are ambassadors of your work. As artists, we already go through, I feel like I have hair on my lip. As artists, we already go through so much, like, just, it's a lot. Like, trying to assert your value in a world that already doesn't necessarily value artwork can be exhausting. And so when you add in pitching for opportunities and stuff, like it's necessary, but we need help. We need help as well. We need people to say, yeah, you know, vouch for us and like say, hey, I want to see this artwork here, or I want to see this like live painting here. Because that is something I want to do more of, like seeing how y'all resonate with the live painting on here on YouTube. I'm like, ooh, I want to do live painting events IRL. Like, I think that would be really cool. I think that would be really fun, and like add some live music as well. Like, I think people are just so over staying at home, and like people just want real, genuine, cool experiences to leave their house and enjoy. And I feel like for whatever reason, it's sometimes like if you don't live in New York, or I don't know too much about LA, but I'm gonna assume that LA has a lot of experiences like that. But I know New York definitely did when I was living there. Like there was always some type of pop-up exhibition, installation. But I live in the South. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. And so I think, you know, I'm seeing more of those things happen, but it's a collective effort to do those types of things. So, you know, I really do want to do more live painting events. I think the art shows I've done in the past were really cool, and I'm grateful for those opportunities, but I think they weren't as like immersive as I'd want, if that makes sense. It's just like your standard, you know, gallery show, like, okay, here's the art on the wall, like that type of thing. And I want something where it's like people can come up and see my art practice and like see my, what's it called? Like just see me create artwork in real time. So if there's a venue in your city or your neighborhood and you're like, wait, I would love to see that here, like coffee shop, wine bar, whatever, like let them know about me. Let them know about me. And like you can send them my website, which I've pinned in the chat, and that's where you can view my artwork and purchase it. So this is what the bag is looking like so far. I'm really vibing with how she's looking. Part of me like wants to let this dry and then start on the back, but I'm also like, oh, I don't know. Let me like maybe finish this first. I think I'm gonna put some of the orange on the top. I had said that I wanted to do like blue on this area, but I think I'm gonna just put some orange. Like I want this whole bag to look like a literal walking canvas. That is the goal. But I don't want to get rid of the pink entirely though, so let's see. This is what it's looking like so far. So cute! I'm so excited for this to be finished. Now I'm like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Pink, pink, pink. But if you enjoy, you know, being a part of my creative practice, I invite you to subscribe. I go live every weekday at 3 p.m. And also, if you check out the link in the chat that I pinned, that is where you can view my artwork and purchase your own piece as well. Become a collector. Okay. All right, so this is what it's looking like. I'm going to reply to a message real quick because it's itching me. It's just like I have something to say. Hold on. Literally me trying to multitask here. But also, I think what I'll do is I wanted to paint the handles, but now I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to just like paint the entire bag and then just like leave the sides pink. I guess we'll see as we go. I don't know. I think maybe I might just like, if I do want to preserve some of the pink, I'll add it to the hair. But Let me know what y'all think I should do on the front, because I started on the back because I didn't know how it would look, but I don't know what to do on the front. So let me know what y'all are thinking. Let me know. Okay, sorry y'all, I had to just reply to something because like, wait, what? It was that whole conversation about me like trying to work with that brand and whatever. Anyways, let me not get too frazzled. Okay, it's like a double whammy sometimes because I feel like I'm not gonna act like I don't think my appearance doesn't help with certain things, but sometimes I feel like when you are viewed as an attractive woman, people just don't take you serious. Like, and I talked about this in my other live, like someone was making comments like, oh, I don't want to pull out, or just nasty, inappropriate comments. And I said, my nigga, like, I'm reading a book right now. Like, what are you saying? Like, but I feel like even trying to navigate partnerships and stuff, like with male owners, it can be annoying. I think like the men who are best to work with are married, happy men because they don't try to hit on you. But trying to do business with single men, Jesus. It's like it can be easier to get into the door because you look good or they find you attractive, but it's not all it's cut out to be, because then they now start trying to hit on you and start trying to make it seem like you owe them. It's like, dude, I have 2 Ivy League degrees and a business and a book. Like, I don't need you. Like, I just want to do, business because I felt like it could benefit both of our brands. So it just got annoying, and I feel like all this red pill content, all of like, y'all know what's happening in the world right now. Like, y'all have seen the vibe, like all this red pill, icky, Andrew Tate, like subjugate women, patriarchy on steroids stuff. It just trickles down into interpersonal interactions in a way that is really tiresome for a woman who are doing business, or women who, are working on their goals and stuff. Like, I do think there are women who prefer to be agents of the patriarchy, because I've seen them online talking about, oh, ladies, you need to stay in the kitchen and serve your man. And it's like, baby, shut up. Go get a college degree or something. I don't know. Like, leave me alone. Like, I don't want to hear it, And I think, like, it's not that I don't believe in healthy relationships or whatever. I'm a lover girl. I am a certified lover girl. I, think healthy relationships are important. I think 2-parent households are important. I mean, I think about a lot of this stuff from a policy standpoint because it's part of the research I did during my grad program at Brown. So I'm like, yeah, I understand the value of healthy relationships and the energetic importance of healthy partnerships between the divine feminine and the divine masculine in society, within ourselves, all of it. However, I think what irks me is when people try to tell women that basically they're not good for anything other than whatever they can fulfill in relation to a man. I don't like that. Like, God is not, or man is not God to me. You know what I'm saying? And I've realized that a lot. I always go into some type of rant, but like this like ties into like what I've been experiencing um with my business a bit, because like I definitely do have to navigate sexism for sure. And I sometimes am like, I'm not understanding. Like I have credentials and I have, all of this stuff. But I also know, like, I've had experiences, like, I left a job because of predatory sexual harassment back in 2019. Like, I had to, like, seek legal counsel. Like, it was that kind of thing. And I think what I learned from that experience is that no matter how qualified you are, you still have to, like, kind of be on your P's and Q's as a woman, because men will try you. And women who are agents of the patriarchy will as well. Okay, so this is what it's looking like. I think this is looking really cute. I think I'm going to mix the orange with a pink. I think I'm gonna mix it with like this, this neon pink. I think it's gonna add like a pop of color to the bag, because it is looking a little bit cool. And I'm not gonna say I don't like that. I just want it to look a little bit more like a statement piece. So, yeah, I think I'll put that pop of color right here, and yeah, go from there. But what was I even saying? Oh, so many things. Yeah, like I've really been thinking about the patriarchy a lot, and I used to always say I'm not a feminist, I'm a revolutionary. But the way things are going nowadays, I'm like, Gloria Steinem, where art thou? We need the consciousness raising meetings and all of that stuff, because people are wilding right now. Oh, yeah, no, I remember like just like some personal interactions I've had lately that have like made me stop dead in my tracks. Like, what is happening? So I went to a conference called Africon. Story time. I went to a conference called Africon a few weeks ago. Phenomenal conference. It was great. I even met Jackie Aina. Took a picture with her. She was so sweet. And Jackie Asamoah, because she is married now. And she was so nice, and it was great. Like a lot of really amazing founders giving talks and stuff like that. We had a representative from the Georgia House of Rep, which I have a bill in my honor. Fun fact. And like, I don't know, it just made me feel really proud, like, to be in community with those people. Now this is what now happens. This is now the useless interaction. Well, not useless, but like irksome. So I met this guy, and he is an actor. And he seemed really, really cool at first. Like, he was like, I really want to buy your artwork, this, and this. So we've talked about this. Men will sometimes, if you're an artist, they'll say, oh, I want to buy your artwork. Now me, I'm not going to knock out an opportunity for a sale. Like, I'm going to engage. Like, okay, cool. Like, here's some of my pieces. Like, what are you interested in? Like, I'm going to, if you tell me you want to buy something from me, I'm going to give you the customer service that you deserve, because yeah, like I want you to experience the value of my artwork. So we're talking, and we exchange numbers, and like, I'm asking him about like what he's interested in and stuff like that. And he's like, yeah, this, and this. Also, this is what it's looking like. I really like that I added that. I think that was a good call. Me personally, I think it was a good call. But anyway, so then we're talking. I go on his Instagram, and I see that this guy has now posted a story of Andrew Tate. And I'm like, I thought it was common knowledge that this guy is literally in a legal battle over like trafficking, and also he's like a well-known misogynist. I have a very low tolerance for misogyny. I did not grow up in an environment where my mom or dad ever pushed sexist ideology on me. they always told me you can be anything. Like, and I grew up seeing women doctors, women lawyers, like black women around me who are in these professions. And so it always like, I think going out into the real world and coming from that type of, I mean, it is a privilege to have been surrounded by that. Like, I do agree. And like, I was raised by a stay-at-home mom, you know? And so like, my mom was very intentional about like what I was exposed to and what my sisters were exposed to. So I'm like, okay, pause. Like, why is this guy sharing Andrew Tate on his story? I think Andrew Tate, I don't even know, I don't listen to the guy. I think the guy was saying something about business, blah, blah, blah. So the next time we talked, I was starting to get this feeling like, oh, I think this guy is interested in me for more than like trying to buy my artwork. So I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. Like, it's not a crime. It's not a crime to want to date me. Like, it's not a crime. I don't hate men, but I am picky, and I don't like misogynists, you know, and I don't like men who view women as less than. So anyway, Shy, I asked him, I said, are you aware that like Andrew Tate is going through legal battles for like sex trafficking and this and this and that and that? And he was like, oh, those got dismissed. And I'm like, no, these are very recent. It's kind of like talking to people who support Chris Brown. Like, the cognitive dissonance is always glaring because it's like, you do realize that man is still an abuser. But anyways, whatever. I'm not even gonna bring him into it. So anyways, so we're talking, and then so the conversation gets to the relationships between men and women right now, all of this, like, you know, we've seen all of this discourse that is happening, and I think it's just very stupid. Like, I'm like, guys, go touch some grass and like actually engage with the opposite sex in real life, not just on the internet. Like, we're all humans, you know, like, go touch some grass and talk to a human being. And you'll see that a lot of these conversations on the internet, they don't mean anything. But anyway, so then he says, and this is what made me also pause, and what made me realize, like, oh wow, a lot of men really do think this way. He goes, oh, if women, you know, start working too much, then work becomes their god. That's why they need a man. Like, man, or he said something like along the lines that like made me infer that men should be women's gods. And I was like, wait, let's pause. Like, what did you mean by that? And he couldn't really explain. And I'm just like, yo, like, there's just a lot of casual misogyny that is positioned as like just an opinion. And I think that like that's why I center sovereign, beautiful woman in my artwork, because for me it's like an aesthetic, artistic rebellion against this idea that women don't really have anything valuable to say, or that a woman's value comes from what she can do for a man. Because there are places in the world where women need to be exposed to that message. And I used to not consider America as one of those places where, you know, we needed to talk about that. But yeah, it is something. Okay, Bomo says, leave out the sides and the handles. Okay, that's what I was thinking I was gonna do. Yeah. That is what I was thinking I was going to do. But yeah, just some interesting interactions. And like, I used to kind of like, not try to gaslight myself, but like, be like, oh no, it's not, I'm just maybe overreacting. Like, it's not that bad, but no, things are good and interesting. Like, and I think that's why it's more important now than ever for a woman to use our voices, and for women to, you know, create artwork. And that's why yesterday when I was talking about Amy Sherald and like just her resistance against the censorship from the Smithsonian for her art show, I think, you know, her decision to pull out of the show was just very heartwarming for me to see, because I don't know, like, why there's this push for women to not have opinions or, you know, sovereignty. But okay, so this is how it's looking. Okay, so now I think what I'll do, I'm gonna add some more pink in the hair, and then I'm gonna add some pops of blue as well. So I'm going to add, I don't know, I feel like I have this other blue, but it might actually be finished. It might actually be finished now that I think about it. But I also have this color that I created, like y'all can probably kind of see it right here. I created that color, and I think I remember how I created it. I used a little bit of purple and I used a little bit of pink. So I think I'm gonna do that and then like add that onto the hair and then do the front. I'm not exactly sure what to do for the front. At first I was gonna do like a woman lounging, but I also think it might be too tiny. I don't know, I'm probably gonna have to like, I also want it to be something that invokes Mother Nature. Something of that sort. But we'll see, we'll see. We'll have to see. But how are y'all doing? What is today anyways? I'm telling y'all, sometimes I like, literally like the days blend in. Okay, I knew I was like, today's Wednesday, right? Yeah, today's Wednesday. Because I feel like I'm always doing a variation of, maybe this sounds bad, like the same thing, like I'm always painting. So it's like, oh, what's today again? Another day of painting. Okay. So this paint is not wanting to open, which, should I take that as a sign? Okay, no, I got it. But yeah, let me know if y'all have any ideas about what I should do for the front of the bag. If you're new, I'm painting this Kate Spade bag, and I'm liking how it's turning out so far. I just want to keep working on the hair. I think actually, the more I look at it, I do want to add some of that blue. I don't know how this color that I'm about to make is going to turn out though. So we shall see. I'm literally making a color that I don't know. I don't know how it will look. Ooh, this is cute. Okay, I'm going to show y'all what it's looking like. I just mixed it up. I mixed like the lilac and the blue, and it actually made a color that I think is cute. So it's that color. Like literally I've used this palette so much. I think I just need to like soak it and scrape off all the paint instead of buying a new palette. I thought I needed to buy a new one, but let me be judicious with my money and not like just randomly spend some. Okay. Because I have a few palettes that I'm like, ooh, I needed to, yeah, I need to like scrape off this paint. Okay. Let me add some of the fabric medium. Which, I mean, maybe I don't really need fabric medium for the bags, but like if you want to spot clean, I wouldn't want the paint to come off. No. Okay, so I'm going to add this down here. Like just something to brighten it up a little bit. And I know I have the little swirl over there. Ooh, I like how that's looking. Like it's a little bit unexpected. And it just makes, I think, the picture more like visually engaging. But I was saying I know I have the swirl there, but like I might not do those. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys what it's looking like. Yeah, I already know like what I would totally wear this with, and I'm really excited to launch these. So very soon, I'd say like in the next couple of weeks, because I want to do some, you know, photos and stuff with the pieces I've been making. So y'all can have an idea of what you can commission from me. But part of the commissions will be leather bags, leather jackets, denim, and leather shoes. So I do have a pair of shoes that I'm gonna paint as well. And I'm like, oh, this is so fun. And every time I paint, I'm just like imagining when the time will come when I'll have my own like boutique space, and it'll just be all these pieces that I've curated and painted, and then it'll be my art on the walls, and it'll just be like a really cool art gallery and fashion boutique. Like, oh, I'm really excited. It's coming. Like, I think once you can clearly see something with your mind's eye, that's how you know it's already done. Because I think sometimes when we have like that hazy picture of what can be, it's like, oh, we're not certain, so it can't be certain. But yeah, I can envision it already, and I'm like, all right, it's done. It's already here. I just have to keep showing up. So yeah, if you want to contribute to that cause, you can view the description of the live, and any donations that you make to Cash App to support me will will go towards me opening up my pop-up space, and eventually I'll be able to get a more permanent location. But we got to start, you know, Rome was not built in a day. Okay, so I'm probably gonna like switch out the brush now. Okay, so I'm gonna do that here, and then I'm gonna put it on the top as well. I'm really vibing with how this is looking though so far. I wish I had started doing stuff like this earlier, but I mean, I guess everything is like, the timing is always how it's supposed to be. I'd be like, some things you're supposed to do at a certain time, and I think I did need to like take the time to figure out my own style. Like, I think I have a unique style. Like, I have a pretty recognizable style to my work, and it took me a couple of years to figure out what that was. And so I think like now that I have that down, I can experiment more. So yeah. Oh, Mama says, oh wow, that is so beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really liking how it's turning out. I think the blue is adding something very dynamic to it, and I'm liking the color palette of this. Ooh, I feel like something, okay. So yeah, I might put a little bit of this blue on her eyes, like just like a dot. Because I told myself I'm not gonna touch the face again. This is a beautiful blue. So how I mix this blue, I'm just like, whoa, I need to like do that again. These are the two colors I mixed. This is a pale violet. It's pretty much a lilac. And then this is a turquoise, a deep turquoise. And these together made this, like, kind of unexpected. So, and why I wanted to, so just quick painting tutorial. I think it was in yesterday's live, I talked a bit about like undertones. So if you want to like do really colorful paintings with different colors, a way to make sure that there's that visual cohesion is to make sure that there are similar undertones in the colors that you use. So an easy way to do this is like having one set underpainting, and then that kind of gives everything the same undertone. But if you're not doing an underpainting and kind of want to like do more colorful abstract work, I think like for me, what helps is like mixing some of each color into each color, even if it's a different color. Like, I hope that makes sense. That's why I mixed a little bit of the purple into the blue. So I hope that gives some insight a little bit into my creative process. But okay, let me just go over these places. I know my tea is like probably super cold right now. but I'm liking how it looks. Hey Sam Mike, what's up? Okay, wait, let me read your comment on my laptop. Hey, so an art book with your paintings and a description of your inspiration. I know that's a tougher idea. You are like, are you like in my head? Because I've written that idea down. Like, it's something that I said I would launch. I told myself if I had the capacity, I would do that like closer to the holidays. But yo, one, it costs money. So I'm thinking like, y'all hear that, right? These kids are running and screaming. I love to see the kids have a good time, like good lord. But okay, so yeah, like that is something that I was thinking about doing this year. But I'm thinking like maybe because I want it to be nice, like I want it to kind of be like a coffee book. So the idea that I had written down was like what you said pretty much, a coffee book, and then my art separated into the different collections because I have around, I'd say like 5 main collections that I've created. And it would be like a coffee book, but I want it to be hardcover and all of that stuff. So I think maybe that's something I could work on for the rest of Q4 this year and then launch like maybe Q2. But the thing is, because I'm developing my fashion line right now and launching my magazine, I'm like, I want to make sure I'm not overwhelming myself. So maybe I could do like a pre-order and just like kind of put it out there. Because when I published my actual book, like Force of Nature, that's pretty much what my publisher did. Like we launched the pre-order while I was finalizing certain things with the manuscript, and then I shipped it like a couple months later. So maybe I'll do a pre-order or a digital version first. Maybe my only qualms with the digital version is that it makes it easier for people to copy my artwork. Like, I mean, technically people could take my product photos online and try to print them, but like if I do a digital book of my artwork, it makes it a lot easier for people to steal it and like blow it up or like put it on their own website. So those are the things, like I try to do things where I can protect my intellectual property in a more, like in an easier way. But yeah, so I think right now, like I could just like start by talking about it more in my magazine when I launch that this month and go from there. But I think maybe I'll do a pre-order. Like maybe I'll launch a pre-order or something and then like do like a limited run, because I do want it to be really nice. Like I saw someone, I think it was Jack Coulter, he's an artist. We were mutuals for a little bit and then I deleted my Instagram, so I don't even know. But I think we may have had a mutual friend from college or something. But he's like, yeah, he does like really cool artwork. But he did this big, like I think the book was like this big, and it was blowed up, like a blow up of his paintings in there and like the inspirations and all that stuff, and it was a hardcover. And so I think like the distributor that I use for my book, I think they do hardcover copies too. So good idea. But yeah, like it is something that I've been like thinking about and working on, but I've been like trying to do other things first. A limited run for just your fans. True. Do you count? Do you count as one of my fans? Like, you be hyping me, which I appreciate. Like, I appreciate the insight you bring to the live and stuff. I hope you consider collecting one of my pieces. I hope you do. Oh, wait, before you join, I was also telling people, like, who hopped onto the live, I was saying that a way to help me out, like I love the ideas y'all give, but also a way to help me out is by like being an ambassador and pitching me to venues in your city. So if you go to like, so I got off a call today, for example, with a restaurant, a wine bar that I want to do like a installation and live painting event with. And I'm like, man, like I think it would be easier if people who really vibe with my work can go into spaces in their community and say, hey, you know, I really like this artist and her work. Ooh, my phone about to die. Hold on, let me plug it up. But and say like, I really like this artist and her work. would you consider doing an event with her? That's another really great way that you can help me. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I hope it did not like go off, but yeah, I hope you heard that. So yeah, like if there's, I know you said you live around like the Baltimore area, CM Mike, so if there's any spots like restaurants, wine bars, cool like live music venues, and you go in and say, hey, there's an artist that I watch on YouTube, she does art shows and stuff like that, and she does live painting, like would you consider doing an art installation with her work or showcasing her work for an event, or like having her come in and do live painting and, you know, have like a live musician? Oh, a business card. Oh man, let's see. Okay, if you, let me put my email in the chat. Email me if you really want to like help, because you always give such great ideas. So I'm just like, I do want to do work like where you are, like around like DC, Baltimore. I feel like I have friends there and stuff, and like I have a network there as well. And so I just feel like because you really vibe with my art, like this is a network from more of like my policy days and like from grad school. So I feel like they're not as plugged into the art scene, but you sound like you have, like you are a musician. I think that's what you said. So I'll put my email, but yeah, just like send me an email and I can literally give you like a virtual business card or like flyer or something. But yeah, you can direct them to my website. My website is pinned in the comments. So if you show them like my website and just say, hey, this is her work, that can help. Hold on, sorry, I'm just like replying to something funny. Okay, but yeah, so that can help. Okay, yeah, so I put my email. Okay, so you said, I know many galleries as well. I got into art about 3 years ago, like a virtual business card. Yeah, like we can do more of that. I mean, it's hard for me to send that over live, of course, because I'm using my phone. But if you send me an email, I don't think you want to like share your email on here, but please send me an email and then like I can send you like just like a virtual card or like pitch flyer or whatever, like a one pager just of like what I do. And if you can share that, that would help a lot. Okay, so this is what we're working with so far. I'm gonna put a little bit of the blue elsewhere as well. Like I need to put it in this little area here. This music is confusing me. And of course the song was called Dizzy. Like, I don't know what that was. Okay. But yeah, I think like if y'all can be part of my PR team, it will help a lot because I am currently a solopreneur. I really tried to hire interns. I tried to work with the youth this summer. That shit did not work. One of my interns was so unprofessional. She like just ghosted. And I was like, okay. Back in the day when I used to intern, I used to like intern at agencies and all this stuff. Like that was just viewed as so unprofessional. And like just, you know, not being consistent in your communication. And so I'm like, okay, the next time I hire someone for my team, like it taught me a lesson about hiring. One, I need to talk to your references. Okay, you said, did I ever do events for schools like community colleges? I want to. Yo, like, I'm telling you, you would be shocked to know how many things I've pitched to people and like I think it's more so about what I'm learning about the art world. It's about the relationships. Like if someone knows someone who makes the decisions, because like knowing the decision makers and having someone who can make an introduction, that is really, that's what makes a difference. So I want to do stuff like that. I'm trying to figure out how to like basically get, I guess, in contact with the actual decision makers. So if you know anybody who would be able to make that decision to say yes. I mean, I've given a talk at Brown. I gave a book talk at Brown. I've given like virtual, like more with my book. I've given talks to like the Deltas, you know, the Black sorority, the Deltas. I've given a talk to the Deltas. I've given a talk to virtual to, what was it, Towson College students. So like I've given book talks, but as far as like my art, I haven't done any art events beyond the art exhibit that I did when I was a student at Brown in undergrad. But like I am also an author, so if y'all want to check out my book, Force of Nature, this is my book. Check it out. It's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble Nook, Walmart, Waterstones, all that stuff. And so Cena Mike says, oh nice, thank you. Yeah, like I mean, I love doing stuff like that, but I haven't done as much of that recently because I've been really focused on my art. And yeah, like I've learned I have to like kind of do one thing at a time. Like now I'm focused on my art and my fashion line, and I'm like, okay, I want to do things around that. Like the book is always gonna be there, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, like I don't need to, it's more of like a passive income stream at this point. Like I talk about it, like sometimes I meet people, they buy it, like when I, you know, say, oh yeah, I'm an author, blah, blah, blah. But I think like with my art and my fashion line, because it's more new, like I did that after I published my book, that's what I'm like really focused on. And so I would love to do like a art exhibit at a local college, or like an art installation, like where I have my work on loan for the school. Because I know Brown used to do stuff like that. Like they would have artists who would loan their artwork for a period of time to the art center, and like students could experience it. But I need help, man. Like, Sia, Mike, maybe you can help me, because it seems like you might know people, at least in your area. And I'm not like, oh, it has to be Atlanta. Like, I'm not set on it has to be where I'm based. But I definitely do want to do things like that where they also want that. I would love to do stuff like that also with, you know, HBCUs as well. My sister, she went to Howard, but I don't even know how, like, I don't even know who I would get into touch with, because, you know, schools and academia is so bureaucratic. So it's like, it can be a lot of runaround. Because I remember I was a contractor for Brown, like when I was first doing my business, and so I was consulting for like, I was just doing some stuff for them. And it just showed me, I was like, dang, like things move really, really slow. So I think if I can like have that introduction to somebody who, like I said, just makes the decisions, and I can say, hey, this is the pitch, and they can say yes or no, preferably yes. But you know, if they can be the ones to say, yeah, like this is it, they control the budget, all of that stuff, that makes it easier. But yeah, if you know anybody, hit me up. Send me an email. See ya, Mike. Send me an email so that you can help me out here, because I do appreciate the insight. Okay. So this is what it's looking like right now. Oh, I didn't even realize there was an area I didn't really do. Yeah, I decided I don't know if I really need all of the swirls and stuff. Like, yeah. But yeah, I appreciate you, Sia Mike, because like being I talked about this earlier in the live, like being an entrepreneur is already tough. And then when you're an artist, the art world is not, there's not like a clear pathway. Like it's kind of like you try this, then you refine, you try this, you refine. Like there's certain things that are common practice, but like there's a lot of things that I've had to learn in real time, and that's like what I was sharing. And then also when you throw in sexism and all of that stuff, and like just, you know, people assuming that because you're a woman and because you're young, or if they find you attractive, they can just talk to you any type of way. Like it's a lot to navigate, and so it does help. Like I've been realizing like I need help, like I need someone. Yeah, this was a great discovery for myself. What? Oh, the same lessons that I'm learning? Or please do expand. What was a great discovery for you? Like realizing that you need help. Because even like the artist I was watching yesterday, Abra, like she was talking a lot about how she used to like self-produce everything, and like as a musician, and she just realized like that came from a place of, I mean, it was cool, but it also came from a place of like maybe like trauma. I don't know, like, because, you know, kind of feeling like, okay, you know what, women are never taken seriously. This is what she was saying, like women, people just wouldn't take her seriously as an artist and stuff. And so she was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it for myself, so I don't have to rely on guys to want to produce the kind of music that I want to make. And I feel like I'm definitely in that space where I'm like, okay, I've had to create a lot of my own opportunities, and like I'm seeing it work, but I need help. I need people who can like ride for me as well. Oh, CM Mike says, no, the channel. Yeah, I'm glad you think so. I'm really happy you feel that way. I feel like going live is kind of changing my life in real time. I think it's made me more, it's definitely like boosted my confidence a lot. Hi Jalen. Jalen Davis says, how do you do? I'm doing quite well, fine sir. I don't know why I read that in like a British accent, but hi, how do you do, Jalen? Did I eat today? I sure did. I did. I ate some chicken and broccoli. Usually I feel like I come on live and I haven't eaten, and I know it's like, we'll just call it intermittent fasting, but I just feel like sometimes I don't really get hungry until like after 3, and then I go in. I plan on doing live piano playing, says CMI. Really? So, an idea for you. What about if you do live piano playing and I do live painting with you? Like, cause that's actually when I was pitching to this restaurant today, I was talking to the owner and I was like, well, I'll explain more. I told him I'd explain more, but like basically the partnership I wanted to do, I was like, I want to do live painting and then have live music as well, and it can be a more immersive experience. And yeah, like, cause I feel like that's the kind of stuff I was very into in college. Like, that's all of my friends were artists and musicians, so we would basically do that with each other. But yeah, if you want to, you know, have some live painting accompany you, CM Mike, I volunteer as tribute. Okay, let's see. Jalen Davis says, that sounds very tasty and nutritious. It was. It really was. So Jalen, welcome to the channel. I hope you subscribe. I hope you subscribe because I go live every weekday at 3 p.m. from my art studio. And so right now I've been painting this bag and I'm almost done with it. All right, I don't know, these questions getting a little specific. What? Jalen, I'm about to click on your profile, see what you got going on. Let's see, go to channel, because what are you asking me right now? Are you wearing Valentino or Carolina Herrera perfume? This is not OnlyFans. I don't know where this conversation is going, but I be trying to tell y'all. I come on here to share my art and my knowledge. Or YSL Libra. LOL. I actually do love that perfume. I'm not gonna lie. I do love me some YSL Libra. It does smell good. But no, I'm not wearing that right now. I wouldn't wear that to just sit at home. I feel like I am a fragrance girly. Okay, you got me. Now you got me talking about fragrances. I am a fragrance gal, but like I feel like when I'm at home, I wear like certain like perfume oils and body spray because I'm at home. But like if I'm going out, I'll wear more of like my more expensive perfumes because I think I'm not cheap. I'm not gonna just sit at home wearing that. Unless maybe I have like a guest coming or something. But even still, it's okay. We could just do some body spray, some perfume oil. Baccarat Rouge. Jalen Davis, are you trying to sell me something right now? Are you trolling? Okay. So, I'm trying to see maybe if I want to put some of the blue down here. I think the next color I'm going to add like a pink-ish. I don't know. Because I like the pink, but this pink is too pale. And I still want it to be like cohesive with the bag. But also if you're enjoying this, make sure y'all subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And yeah. Jalen Davis says purse is coming along great. Thank you. Sam Mike says that's so clean and smooth. Thank you. Yes, that's how I'm feeling. So fresh, so clean. Okay. So yeah, I feel like I definitely pride myself on my clean lines when painting. I remember I did an art show at Atlantic Station last October. And this lady told me, like, when she was looking at my artwork, she was like, I love how clean, like, your lines are. And even when I do abstract, like, fluid work, I feel like my work is like a fluid cubism type of style. I'm really particular about the lines. Jayla Davis says, that purse would go good with blue jeans and white heels or boots. I do have some white heels. Are you a stylist? Are you based in Atlanta? Let's work. Or maybe a lavender color outfit. Yeah. Hey, CMXC, yeah, you picked up on what I was laying down. It is so fresh and so clean. Shout out to Outcast, yeah, ATL. Okay, so wait, actually let me show y'all what my jeans that I painted are looking like. So I painted these jeans. Let me show you guys. These are the jeans I was painting on live for the last couple of weeks. And I think they turned out really nicely. Like I got these from Abercrombie and they're like a 90s high-rise style. So I'm just really excited to paint the jacket, the bag, and the shoes that I have. And then I'll do some photos. I'm also going to be launching some jewelry. I'm really excited about that. So y'all are literally, like I said, y'all are seeing me develop my fashion line in real time. And I think my selfie light actually just went out. Hold on, let me switch it out. I feel like it always goes out right at the 2-hour time. I've been trying to have a hard stop at 5, but then I like talking to y'all, so okay, let's see, let's use this one. Although this is like the second tier selfie light. It's not as bright as the other one, but it's okay. Okay. Alrighty. See, I'm telling y'all, like, I don't really like this light. Okay, let's see. Let's check into the chat while I figure out the technical difficulties. Okay. Jalen says they look wonderful. CM Mike says that's slick. Thank you. Yeah, like I'm really excited. Like, y'all want to see the shoes I'm gonna paint next? So the jacket is still there because that material was pissing me off. Like, to put it lightly, like it just was not. So I have these Carano heels that my older sister gave to me, which she has like the best shoe collection. She has these Louboutins she was trying to give to me, but they were too tight. So I'm just like, God, shrink my feet so that they can fit. But then these shoes were too big. And I feel like they're really cute, but where am I going to wear them? So I might as well paint them and use them as a display piece because they look like she only wore them like a couple of times. But yeah, I feel like these are some really cute red heels. And so I want to do like more of like an abstract painting on these and then maybe add some like jewels down the back. You're looking at a global fashion designer, guys, okay? I'm taking this shit global. And when I do, y'all can say, yeah, I was riding with her in the beginning. Yeah, I was watching her on live. When I'm in Vogue, guys, it's coming. It is coming. Alright, CM Mike says, oh, not shoes to you on a roll. That's what I'm saying, like, I have a vision. I always wanted to be a fashion designer when I was younger. And like I told my parents and they were like, yeah, how about you study something that you can use in multiple industries? So that's why I ended up studying international political economy. And then like my master's was public affairs because I was like, I want to at least be able to know what's happening in the world. And like, even if I'm an artist, I want to still have an idea of like how the economy works and how, you know, tariffs can affect my supply chain. And there's just certain things that the older I get and the more I engage in like building my business or expanding my business, I should say, I'm like, wow, you know, I'm really happy like I studied econ and like have an understanding of how global trade works because I think a lot of people don't really understand and it hurts them because they can't really strategically position themselves. And so that's why I've been reading certain books and like sharing them on here. Jalen says, are you supposed to wear insoles with heels or no? I don't know. I don't wear anything but the shoes when I wear heels. I stay in heels. I love heels. I'm like a heels or boots type of person, and I think I blame my parents because my sisters and I, like, we weren't allowed to wear like flip-flops or stuff to school. My parents were like, no, you are representing this household. When you leave, you need to be dressed, okay? I think it's like a combination of them being Nigerian and then also growing up in the South. Like there's definitely that Southern belle energy, like, or at least they're, child, if I see one more bonnet when I go outside, I'm just going to lose it. But there used to be a sense of decorum in the South, like of like how you wear what you're wearing, and like when you go out, like there's a sense of pride in carrying yourself, you know, well. And I think like I definitely want my fashion line to be a bold expression of that, because that sense of pride in, you know, what you wear and like how you carry yourself, because Alaere does mean queen in Ija, my mom's language. Robert Reich is a good YouTube channel on economics. Oh, I'll have to check that out. Let me write that down. Yeah, like I love econ. That's my degree. I worked at the World Bank before the pandemic happened, and like I think I really love that, you know, like I love econ. I think more Black people need to understand about how economics work, global economics, because our cultural currency, African Americans have like some of the most potent cultural currency in the world. And I think like it's so commonplace to give away that power to people and give it away to a middleman. And like I think ownership is just so important. And like I think I don't know, there's just so many things I could say on that topic, but that's why I really vibe with like Master P. And like when he talks about like how he was able to grow his wealth through his music company and everything, he focused on ownership. Like he even said this in Solange's album, I can't remember which one it was, The Seat at the Table, like in his little, like he had like a little snippet where he was talking about his business and stuff, his business mindset. And he was like, yo, like if a white person is offering me $1 million for this, I gotta be worth like 30 million or something. And I think like that's kind of my mindset too. Like, if this person is offering me this, then I know in another market I've got to be worth more. You know what I'm saying? Seeing Mike says modesty all the way. Like, listen, my thoughts on that are like, I'll show a little leg. I'll show like I like my legs, you know, I like showing certain things, but I feel like there is a way to respect yourself and your environment. Like not every outfit for every environment. And so it's like if I'm going to Publix and I'm seeing booty cheeks, I'm uncomfortable. Like this is not a strip club, you know what I'm saying? And like I feel like when you say stuff like that, people are like, oh, that's so conservative, this and this. And I'm like, no, I think it's a sense of decorum. Like, and people don't really like to admit that how people treat you is largely influenced by how you present yourself. It's branding, it's personal branding. And so I'm a step. When I leave my house, I'm gonna look put together. My hair gonna be done. If I feel like, oh, my hair is not done, I'll put on a nice hat. Okay, like a bonnet outside. My parents would never let me step out looking like that, ever. And I don't know why there's such a, I feel like it's an agenda. I feel like it's an agenda to get young Black girls looking any type of way, getting treated any type of way when they leave their house. And it's like, but you don't have to. Just my thoughts. I could talk about that more, but just my opinion. Not dictating how anybody should act, but Alaere means queen, and queens don't step out the house looking crazy. So, but I also feel like, you know, the fashion world lately has been kind of dry. And I agree with you, Jalen Davis. Nobody gets fly anymore. That's why I'm like, yeah, like, I want to make some fly stuff. Like, I want to look dope when I leave my house. Like, I want people, when they wear what I create, I want them to feel like, yeah, like, I look good. I look good. I'm stepping. I look fly. All right? Okay, so Jalen says, to be fair with bonnets, do-rags are a lot more common and no one blinks an eye. I do. That's another thing. I don't like seeing, I think it's just me. I think it's a cultural thing because I was raised by Nigerians, and so I can get into that a little bit more. But he said, and no one blinks an eye, but in some way with bonnets, it's a big deal. I don't like seeing do-rags. I don't like seeing bonnets. Now, I feel like there's exceptions. I think there's exceptions, but I feel like, so, okay, let me explain it this way. When I first quit my corporate job and I was like building my business like from scratch and everything, I like had little like side jobs that I did. And so I was a hostess at this really like fancy steakhouse called STK in Atlanta. Like celebrities would come in, like I think like I saw Matt Damon when I was there. I saw Quavo, P, what's her name? Young Miami, what's the other guy's name? Santana or something. Like a lot of like, it was like a hot spot for like celebrities to come in and stuff. Oh yeah, Lil Baby, he came in too. So like it was that kind of vibe. Now, at this steakhouse, I remember there was definitely a dress code. But I remember there were a few times where women would come in with bonnets and like a start, like looking like you just woke up. And I was just like, but why? Like, I don't know. I think like, I just don't get it. Like, I would rather see somebody with their afro out, like even if they feel like it's not done, like I still think that looks beautiful. Like I would rather see like just leave your hair out. Like if your hair needs to get cut, just leave it. That's your natural beauty. Like just leave it. I'd rather see that than like looking like you just got up and you were like you couldn't be bothered. Now that's just me. That's just my opinion. And I say like I think it's because I was raised by Nigerians, because I don't know if you know a lot of Nigerians, but we're pretty extra. Like Nigerians could be pretty like very opulent in our dressing, and like there's a sense of pride in that, because when you leave your house it's always viewed as like I'm representing my household, I'm representing my family name. Like there's a lot of like that cultural mindset of like, okay, if I go out, if somebody meets me and they know I'm from the, let me make up a name, the Oye households, and they see me looking unkempt, that reflects on my mom, that reflects on my dad, that reflects on like, you know, my people. So I think it's like, you know, it's maybe that kind of thing. Yeah, Jalen Davis, I think you're right. You said, I think some forms and presentations of natural hair is deemed as acceptable and presentable. I definitely agree. I think there's so many things that influence that. I think like colorism, there's a word called texturism on the internet. I don't know if it's like an actual thing, but colorism is like, it has an actual definition and stuff. And like texturism refers to like looser curls and things like that are more accepted, as opposed to like a 4C Black Power, you know, type of afro. And I hate that. Like y'all, I've changed my hair like 3 times in the last week. Like I love hair as a sense of expression and stuff, and like I'll wear my afro, I'll wear a silk press, I don't care. Like I kind of go based off of like, I kind of view my life as a movie, and I'm like a character in my movie, and like on this day my protagonist gets to do this. I don't know, I'm a theater kid at heart, y'all, so I'm kind of extra like that. But I definitely think that like there's way too much politicization of natural hair, and I think that's what keeps a lot of women, like their hair don't even look crazy, but they feel like they have to cover it with a bonnet just because it's in its natural state. And I'm like, I would literally rather see that than the bonnet. And I think that's kind of like where my disapproval if I should say that, comes from, like with the bonnets, besides it looking like unkept. And I think the same thing can be said for like Black men as well, you know. Like I think I don't have brothers, I don't really have a lot of like male cousins, so you tell me, like, why do y'all wear not bonnets, why would y'all wear a do-rag out? Like, to me, I'm assuming like men would wear a do-rag if they feel like they haven't gotten a lineup, or like if they haven't gotten a fresh cut. Let me know, I'm just assuming, but I'm like, I would rather see that than the do-rag. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just like a personal preference, but yeah. Interesting conversation though. Jalen Davis says, that's why I never grew my hair out, because people would ask what I'm mixed with, and if I got a texturizer, I would tell them there's no such thing. Or they would ask what I'm mixed with, and if I got a texturizer, I would tell them there's no such thing as good hair. There isn't. There's just the hair you were blessed with, and like, you take good care of your hair. I agree. Jalen, I hope you subscribe to my channel, because I'm liking the mindset here. But yeah, like, I definitely think that's also why I like to depict, like, I'll show you guys one of my paintings. I like to depict natural hair and stuff, like, in my paintings, even if it's from an abstract lens. Like, I want to depict, like, Black women in all different types of expression, like sovereign expression, from a decolonized expression of divine feminine energy. Because I think also something that's been irritating me that I've noticed lately is this conversation that, you know, posits this assertion that for whatever reason natural hair is not feminine, and I'm like, what? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. But then also, you know, I think because I grew up in an African household, like, how crazy would African people look? I mean, there are some people who look crazy saying this nonsense, but like saying, oh, your natural hair doesn't look good, you should just put a wig on it. Like, and I'm not opposed to wigs. Like, wear whatever you want to wear, but like, I just think like there's a push to get Black women ashamed of our natural expressions of self, and we have to decolonize. I feel like every other second I go on my little Malcolm X rant. Sometimes it's a Bernie Sanders rant, sometimes it's a Malcolm X rant, but like, that's why y'all should buy my first issue of my magazine when I release it, Alaere Manifesto. I feel like it's like my favorite elements of Teen Vogue and my favorite elements of the Black Panther newspaper mixed together. Okay, so Jalen Davis says, I did. That looks very nice. Thank you. So this is the back. Now, I don't know what I want to do for the front. I'm still deciding. But I hope y'all know I'm not judging anybody. I'm just like, these are just my opinions. And like, I think it just goes back to like, I like when people take pride in their appearance, or at least try to look put together. But I think that may also be viewed as elitist by some, or that might be viewed as like privileged by some. And I'm like, perhaps, but I do think if you have the privilege of having a home to sleep in, and you have the privilege of being able to wash your hair daily, the least you can do is honor it and like, you know, step out looking presentable, in my opinion. CM Mike says, I don't think people quite understand the level of destruction of normal African culture that was destroyed during colonialism. That's what I'm saying. And like, even when I was at the whitest school possible, like Brown University had, I think when I was there, like let me just paint this picture for y'all. 9% or 8% of the student population was Black. The undergraduate population. So maybe like there was only like maybe 500 Black kids. And that is not even only like, this might ruffle some feathers, but I'm talking like fully Black, like not mixed with anything, because a lot of people in privileged spaces, we did have these conversations when I was there, like a lot of Black people in privileged spaces are often children of one white parent as well. Like, you know, like Barack Obama types. And like, not knocking Barack, I vibe with Barack Obama, liked his book, Dreams from My Father, but we do have to also look like structurally, like I think this mindset of white is right or whatever, or light is right or whatever, like those are all mindsets that come from a colonized ideology that wish to deviate Black people from African people from our true identity as divine conduits of God consciousness. And like, I talk about this, y'all get me worked up, because I do talk about this in my book, Course in Nature, in a poetic way. And like, I would say, like, Nikki Giovanni definitely inspired some poems in here. And James Baldwin, I love, like, you know, the ideologies that James Baldwin talked about, and like his writing and everything. And so that's kind of why I was like, you know what, I want to talk more about stuff like this. I'm going to found a magazine and then be able to have people who want to like submit essays and stuff too. So yeah, like I think that that's why art and like Black art and Black music and Black sovereign expression is so important. It's so important because it allows us to consciously decolonize visual spaces. I remember I took a class in grad school called Decolonizing Visual Spaces. It was like an architecture class, and we talked about how the legacies of slavery and colonialism that we see in the architecture and in the city planning and in the urban planning around us can have these psychological and emotional effects. And I see that in real time. Like the part of Atlanta that I live in, if you can even call it Atlanta, I'm north of Atlanta. So I'm like, it's Trump County up here. It's like there's horses and lakes, you know, but it's not like super duper far from the city, but it's far enough where I can go around and I can see literally a street saying plantation. There's a street by this beauty supply store by my house. Literally, it's like plantation something something, or like this and that. And I remember the library I used to work at was literally right off that street, and you could see, like, you drive down and it's like every other neighborhood is plantation this, plantation that. And I'm like, I don't like this. Even though I'm not a descendant of slaves, like, I still feel like as a first generation Black American, like building a legacy on the soils in which African Americans made so many sacrifices for me to even be here, like, it irritates me. It, like, I don't like seeing that. So I can only imagine how people who their lineage came out of slavery, like how they feel seeing that. Like, I don't like it. And it's like, when I was in this class, like, we were just talking about how the material culture and that architectural, you know, visual culture that we see, when those legacies of slavery are embedded in that, it can still subjugate Black people and African people mentally and spiritually. And yeah, like, I mean, I think, you know, one thing I am happy about that they did recently is they moved the location of the library that was by plantation blah blah blah, and they repurposed it, or they repurposed the first Black school. Like, it was the first like Black elementary school in my county, and it was like the only school where Black people could go to during Jim Crow and everything. And they repurposed it into this really beautiful library, and there's a whole museum in the lobby of the library just like talking about just like, you know, integration and education and all of that stuff. And it makes me happy. Like, y'all know I love talking about this stuff. I'm an influencer for the National Center of Civil and Human Rights in Atlanta, and I don't know, like, I think we gotta talk about this stuff. We do. Okay, let's see. CM Mike says, yeah, people do not realize the rest of Georgia is intense. It's the real deal. Yeah, it is. I tried to talk about this on TikTok. These people are coming for me. I said, yeah, y'all got it. I deactivated. Like, the comments were crazy. And I'm just like, y'all don't really understand that in some parts of this country, like, it's wild. It's really wild. And we have to, like, I think for me, the best way I can resist is by honoring who God called me to be and creating legacies and challenging these paradigms through my art, through my writing. And then also it's like what Nikki Giovanni said in her poem, Revolutionary Dreams. I just want to read a little bit from it. Like, there's a quote from it that I really, really vibe with. I'm just like, also for the painting, I'm just like going over some areas. Like, I wanted to make the earrings more vibrant. Okay, so she said in her poem, Revolutionary Dreams, I used to dream militant dreams of taking over America to show these white folks how it should be done. I used to dream radical dreams of blowing everyone away with my perceptive powers of correct analysis. I even used to think I'd be the one to stop the riot and negotiate the peace. Then I awoke and dug that if I dreamed natural dreams of being a natural woman, doing what a woman does when she's natural, I would have a revolution. And I think, yeah, like, I agree, like, you know, and I don't think she meant, like, you know, people might want to, you know, modernize this and say, oh, she means, like, don't get surgery, don't do this, don't wear extensions, blah, blah, blah. I think naturally, spiritually, like, having that decolonized expression of your soul, it's a different type of thing as Black people. And, like, I think it was, oh man, what reading was it? I read this a minute ago. I used to really be, like, on my Black consciousness in college, like, reading a lot of that stuff. But that really great literature, which We need more of that. But I think it was like maybe W.E. Du Bois or something, or James Baldwin. One of them was writing about like how like the colonial project and like slavery, all of that, it worked to separate African people from their soul. Like the way you can subjugate somebody is to convince them that they don't have a soul and that they are not. Because if you separate someone from the expression of God within, they are easier to control. If you ask me, like if you now have like, because African people prior to colonialism, we had deities that looked like us. That's why I also like to, you know, kind of incorporate like African. Here, I'll show you like one of my paintings. Like I try to incorporate stories of like Afro-Indigenous, like African spirituality into my artwork, because these stories of like, you know, Oshun, these stories of all of these different deities were all like kind of similar to these Greco-Roman deities like Zeus and Athena and all of them. And like if you can separate African people from this idea that they too have God in them, then it's very easy to control them. And don't even get me started on colonialism and the intersections with religion. Okay, Jalen Davis says, yep, and trauma is passed down through epigenetics. Yeah, that's a real thing. CM Mike says they're literally stuck in the 18 and 1900s. CM Mike says, how difficult would it be to paint the handles on the back? I'm thinking I might not actually paint the handles. So I think I'm going to paint because I think it's actually going to be difficult. And I think I do still want to like preserve the integrity of the bag. So I think I'm going to leave. Listen now, why is the music now screaming? Okay. Anyways, I think I want to keep the sides and the handle pink. But yo, I've been like just talking about all this stuff because I get really passionate about it. I haven't even been painting. So right now I'm just like trying to go over the ink that I used to outline some of the areas, because I don't want that to show, and it just requires me to paint, wait, so that it can dry and stuff. But I'm really vibing with how this is looking. I am thinking I am gonna add like maybe a little bit of the actually I'm scared to do it, but I wanted to add a little bit of the pink on the woman, like on the blush, but low-key I'm like, I don't know, maybe I should not do that because I don't want to mess it up. Jalen Davis says, I think it's all rooted in jealousy, envy, and insecurity. Yeah, it is. We all watched, which movie was it? Get Out? People forgot about that movie, but I'm like, yeah, it is. And from my PWI days, I can definitely tell you there is definitely some of that, like, jealousy. I mean, after all, we were the first people on Earth. I'd be jealous of me too, shit. Like, I love being an African woman, and I think, like, putting that celebration of my heritage into my art plays a huge role. And yeah, also I'm really enjoying this conversation, y'all. Like, y'all are some dope thinkers. We're on the same page. CM Mike says rave music. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're trying to chill. We're trying to chill, elevate our minds, brothers and sisters. Actually, let me stop before I start attracting the hoteps, because I'm not on that. And I think it's annoying because, like, every time you talk about anything relating to, like, Black consciousness or anything like that, people start thinking, oh, like, that's a hotep, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, no. Hoteps are misogynists who try to use African culture to justify their misogyny. No. Not that. Oh wait, but y'all, there was this really cool conversation I saw. I think it was from like New York Times. D'Angelo, may he rest in peace. I love D'Angelo. Like, one of my first songs that I sang with my acapella group was entitled, How Does It Feel? Like, I love D'Angelo, so I'm really sad about his passing, but he had a conversation with Bobby Seals, and yeah, he had a conversation with Bobby Seals, one of the inaugural members of the Black Panther Party, and it was just a really dope conversation just about like the relationship with music and Black artistry and the revolution, because we're in it. We are literally in it. And I'm like, yeah. You'll see it, like, the algorithm will get you. Jayla Davis says the whole text laughing emoji. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to attract that crowd. They be trying to find me, y'all. And I'm like, I'm not the one you want, y'all. What I am is a woman who has decolonized her mind. Because I remember just growing up, my dad would always tell me, like, don't let these people tell you who you are. And, like, you are an eagle and you're meant to soar. And, like, my mom would always just remind me, like, you're beautiful, you're this, you're that, you're smart, you can be anything. Like, and I think, I think just what young Black people probably need is more people speaking light into them and speaking life into them. And that used to be in the church, but I feel very disappointed in the Black church lately, because I don't think they're doing, with what we got going on in the world, they're not doing enough. They're not doing enough. Like, the young Black people I've talked to, and like who, and I talk to like kids of like all ages and stuff, like, because my older sister does this like college and like young adult seminar type of thing every year. And like there's people, like when she was a youth pastor at her church, like there's some of them that, come and talk to me about like college or like self-confidence. And I used to be a counselor in college. I don't know if you could tell, but yeah, I'm about to also I'm on my laptop. I'm trying to put the D'Angelo Bobby Seals thing in the chat so y'all can watch it. But yeah, like I just feel like from those conversations, going back to what you said, CM Mike, I feel like it would be really impactful if I could go to schools with large Black populations and speak. So I'm working on that. But yeah, Jalen Davis, I don't know where you go to school if you're in school, but if you want me to come talk at your school, I give book talks and I do art exhibits and stuff like that. So you can send them my website. It's pinned, and just let them know. Like, I want this speaker at my school. CM Mike, excuse me, my beautiful African queen princess. Yeah, that's what my mom calls me to this day. And like, I am. Like, this is also, y'all, this is the link, the YouTube link I just put in the chat. If y'all want to check it out, is this really great conversation with D'Angelo, the late musician, and Bobby Seals of the Black Panther Party, which I feel like people don't understand. Also, Assata Shakur, may she rest in peace. Like, I feel like people don't understand how impactful it was to have something like the Black Panther Party, and people sensationalize, the guns and this, even though, what are they called, the Proud Boys or whatever, the people that were scaling the Capitol during that nonsense, they're allowed to exist, but the Black Panthers were a problem. Doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, no, they were doing programs, giving, free breakfast to children. They had, people running for office. Like, the Black Panther Party was so integral to my own understanding of like what it means to be sovereign in this country, because I do think I navigate both of my identities. Like, I am Nigerian, but I was born and raised here. I'm a Black American, and with that privilege of being Black in America, because I do think it is a privilege, like, for a lot of reasons, but we have so much at our disposal, and I wish that more young Black people realized that. I do wish. I wish. But yeah. Jalen Davis says, yeah, I agree. Appreciative of my ancestors, but can't forget that it was a living fight, struggle, and blood was shed. Yeah. I talk about that in my book. Yo, Jalen, you should check out my book. I'm going to put my book link in the chat so you can check it out. Because I have a poem. Actually, let me see if I can find it. I'm going to share it with y'all. I think it was in my fire chapter. It was called By Any Means Necessary. Ooh, also this one was good too. Ooh, wait, actually, okay. I like have so many of my favorite, because I published this book like during the pandemic, and unfortunately during that time I lost one of my mentors, and he was this prominent professor at Brown, and he was like so smart, and he was one of the reasons I even really started taking writing seriously. But I think like during that time, just seeing everything that was happening in the world, it inspired a lot of poems. And so in my fire chapter, there's a lot of that passion and channeling that anger into like calls to action and stuff. Okay, but anyways, let me put my book. I'm over here like getting ahead of myself, but I do want to read from it real quick. Hold on, I'm about to check into the chat, y'all. Like, I want to make sure I'm seeing what y'all are saying. I feel like we're having a really cool conversation. Jalen says, will do. Thanks. Okay, so I'm going to put, this is the Amazon link that I just put. You can check that out. Okay, Sia Mike says, I wish more of us who think the way you do could find each other easily. That's what I'm saying, like, but that's also kind of part of the reason why I decided to start going live. Because I was like, okay, some people are not going to vibe with what I'm saying, and that's cool. But I also felt like when I was posting videos, also the music's kind of loud in my video. I feel like when I was posting videos, like it left it up to the algorithm. And I feel like these algorithms were created by racist white people. Like, so it's like, you can't really rely on algorithmic sorting to like get you connected with people. And so that's why I'm trying to build this community here and then also funnel y'all into things that I do IRL, like in real life. And so with the Alaere Manifesto magazine, I think that's going to be a really great way for me to talk about these subjects without fearing censorship. And I'm telling y'all, like, I'm really inspired by the Black Panthers. And when they had their Black Panther newspaper, it was circulated independently. Even Ebony magazine, that was circulated independently. And I feel like literacy is a tool that the oppressor uses to try to subjugate people, especially Black people. There's a reason why during slavery, like, people were not allowed to read. And I feel like now we're seeing that, but through like TikTok and through, you know, all of these things. Yeah, like we're seeing all of this attack on our minds and our mental sovereignty through algorithmic conditioning. Like, it is not, this is not like I'm not one of those, what's it called, conspiracy theorist types of people. Like, I studied this at Brown University. And so it's like, I say that because I'm like, I know people sometimes when you try to have these conversations, they're like, oh, like, she's just da-da-da-da-da-da. Nah. Like, this is a very real thing. Like, this is how people control your mind. And that's why I'm like, I'm really excited for my magazine, and I hope y'all purchase the first issue. I'm gonna release that by the end of this month, but it's gonna be the November issue. And I have some pretty good articles. I'm gonna put one of my essays in there, Why Nations Fail. It's a comparative analysis of just the post-colonial development of America compared with Nigeria, and just looking at some of those similarities and like talking about Why Nations Fail, which is an actual book that I read. Like, it's kind of like exploring political economy and stuff. And then also at the end of the essay, talk about how nations can heal. So yeah, I hope y'all do like check out my magazine when I launch it. Big Kirk says favorite book. My book. But besides my book, I would say my favorite book, gosh, I have favorite books for like different things. I'd say the book that changed my life was Dreams from My Father by Barack Obama. That for a long time was my favorite book. I read that when I was 11, kind of around the time that I think he had just announced that he was going to run for president. He was still a senator in Illinois. And I remember like it was yesterday because we stayed with that Ebony subscription in my house. Like my parents, if you can't tell, they were very Black power all the way. Like growing up, we watched Black shows. I had Black doctors. I had like the pastors were Black. Like they really were on that type of time. And like my dad went to the HBCU like when he immigrated here. And so, anyways, yeah, I feel like when Barack Obama was like kind of gearing up for his bid for president, my dad bought me that book and was like, you need to read this. He's African, just like you, and he's going to be the next president. And I wanted to be in politics. And so I think Dreams from My Father was just a really impactful book for me to read when I was at such an impressionable young age. And when I read that book, that's what instilled in me the desire to get an Ivy League degree or two. And I was like, yeah, if he could do it, I can do it. And Barack Obama did not come from money. He didn't come from like, you know, generational wealth or anything. And so I think like it was just a really inspirational book for me to see that, okay, I have the same access to the same tools. And like he talked a lot about community service and like empowering your community. He did a lot of low paid and unpaid community work in Chicago before he even, you know, became a politician. And so just learning about his story, I think, was really inspirational. But okay, I'm gonna read y'all something from my book. Okay, it's Force of Nature. I just put the link to purchase it from Amazon there, but there's a poem that I just thought about that I wrote. Okay, y'all ready? I'm gonna read it. Okay, let me change up the music a little bit. Okay, so this poem is called Emancipation Proclamation. So I wrote this book. I hope y'all enjoy. This is from my fire chapter. Okay, so I said, remember when Black art meant revolution. Remember when Black love and Black unity broke down concrete bricks, weighing heavy, stealing the air we could not breathe. Remember when Black rage burnt these institutions to the ground and dared them to try to rise again. I want to taste the rage of the scorned. I am not asking. I am not begging. I am taking. I am creating. I am nourishing my soul, plating the fields of those who came before me. My tears water the earth. From there, my freedom rings. Red seas part when I lift my hands to dial the sky, because God has said, let my people go, and free we shall be. Okay, so that was just a poem called Emancipation Proclamation, but there was actually a different poem that I was trying to read. So there's another poem I wrote called Birthright that I really like, that I think goes along with, I had no idea we would get into this kind of conversation today, but I'm really happy that we did, because part of my mission is to spread, one, Black consciousness, because I do think Black intellectualism is very important for the development of Black people of all backgrounds in America. I don't do diaspora wars. I beg. Okay. If you Black and you're in this country, you Black American. Like, sue me. That's what I think, okay? Like, because I remember, you know, when I was in college, there were people petitioning like, oh, people whose parents are from the Caribbean and Africa should not have access to scholarships for Black people. That should only be for African Americans, and whose people are descendants of slavery. And while I do think that there is a case for certain, certain opportunities that, like, I mean, hello, reparations, like there needs to be that, but I also think that America is so diverse. Like the global Black polity needs union. Like, and I think when we look back historically, these movements, the Black Panther Party, they were not necessarily doing all of that in fight. Well, in the beginning, they weren't doing all of that in fighting and stuff. So, anyways, I just say, like, I preach unity. Okay. I'm not really on the wave of like, oh, us versus them, Africans versus Black Americans. Because I straddle both of those worlds, so it's like, no, that's not cool. Okay, so anyway, let's go on and read the poem. I'm still painting, I promise y'all, but like, we were talking about this stuff anyways, and I feel like I want y'all to check out my book and, you know, ask your local schools and local libraries to get it. And so I feel like if I read to you from it, it will help. But anyways, let me stop yapping. So this poem is called Birthright. And I feel like it pertains to some of what we've been talking about. Okay, so I said, I get carried away with the weights of the world. I can't feel foot, sunken in soil. I raise my wings overhead like an erstwhile healed fowl, sputtering blindly through a deserted compound. It was black as the night when I first tumbled forward, black with no light when I stretched my limbs outward. Towards eternity, I walked the fields, gliding through high grass and fallen greens. I meandered through an ancestor's grave, buried beneath seaweed and locked with iron keys. I pay tribute to this legacy, a life hidden from me. This is my birthright. I am my grandfather's emancipated vision, persevering through the whip of hostile forayers, raising a sword to headmaster's hand. I am the thoughts of chiefs conjured in the morning, seated on thrones threaded with ivory, and sipping from glasses peppered with gold. Leaning against the bark of this regal lineage emancipates my fears, positioning me to stand tall in the face of adversity, history's hard truth, society's deceit. Without hesitation, I walk the land once taken from me. I own the land. I reclaim my being. This is my birthright. Period, 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 period. I'm so serious. But anyway, like, that's just a couple of selections from my book, Force of Nature, written by yours truly. And you can actually purchase the artwork on my book on my website. Let me show you guys. I recently just sold this piece. They're all limited edition, by the way. So it's like, once it's gone, it's gone. Okay, let me show you guys. Alrighty. So yeah, sorry about the reflection of the light, but I hope y'all can still see it. Okay, let me angle it this way. But yeah, this is the largest edition of this print. Yeah, so if you want to buy that, it's the cover of Force of Nature. And it's also one of my more popular pieces. I think, like, there's so much I could say about the meaning behind all of it, but I mean, you've heard some pieces from my book, so I think you can kind of get an idea of, like, the deeper spiritual, political messages behind my literature and my artwork. Because I used to always think, like, does art have to be political? Does Black art have to be political? I don't think it does, but I think sometimes inherently so it is, because of the world we live in. Like, a Black woman being her natural self, that already is like political resistance, because that's not what people want to see. That's not what the powers that be want to see. Okay, so let me check into the chat, y'all. CM Mike, good idea. I have to research how to donate a book to the library for circulation. Yeah, so another thing, you can get it into bookstores on my behalf. Like, literally, I remember the bookstore in Dallas where I did my first book signing event, which I have a short on. I have a few shorts of, like, just recapping that. But, like, maybe I can put a link of it. But the bookstore that I did, I literally went and I was like, hey, I'm an author, like, how do I get my book in here? And they were like, oh, we buy our books from this distributor. And I was like, oh yeah, that's the distributor I work with. And boom, they bought my book. And like that invited me to do a book signing event. So you can also like look into bookstores locally around you. This is how y'all can help me out. This is how y'all can help a sister out. Help a local artist, business owner, and artist and fashion designer and author. This is how you can help me, okay? If you go, also let me do painting. If you go into a bookstore and just say, hey, I'd love to see this book in here. It's on Ingram Spark, or like, they have their own ways, but I worked with a publisher that made sure that distribution was pretty easy and widespread. So you can totally be able to get it into a bookstore near you. Jalen Davis says, wonderful, thank you. Okay, y'all, I feel like I've been talking for a hot minute and y'all are really humoring me by listening, but that's why I started going live. I was like, I have thoughts, I have things to say, and I'm tired of the nonsense that I see on the internet. Like, let me at least, I feel like you can't complain and not try to be part of the solution. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I know I'm tired of seeing the depictions of Black women online, if I know I'm tired of the ignorance that I'm seeing abound on, digital or in digital spaces, the least that I can do is say, you know what, let me offer an antidote. Like, let me be something different. So that's why I'm here. And CM Mike, you said earlier, I wish it was easier for us to like be able to find each other. I agree, and I think like that's why I'm working so hard towards opening a physical space, because I want to be able to have these kind of talks and stuff. And I mean, if you're in an academic setting, it can be easier to access, because when I was at Brown, we had these kind of discussions all the time. Like, there was always some prominent professor, some this, some that. But for people who are not in school, like, I'm not going back, well, let me not say I'm not going back to school. Not anytime soon. Like, right now, that's just not my focus. I thought about it. But, like, I think right now, I'm like, there's so much that needs to be done in the community. But sometimes I do get a little bit overwhelmed, because I'm like, well, I can't do it all by myself. I need to like work together with people. So I do think that the internet, as crazy as it is, can be a really great place to connect with people who are also dedicated to the advancement of Black people globally. Because that's what I am. I'm dedicated towards. Okay, so we are painting. I'm just going over with like a pink, because I do still want it to be like, but I might add in like a deeper blue or like a deeper teal. And then I think I'll be done with this side, because I don't want it to be too busy, but there's just certain colors that I want to incorporate. So yeah, I think I keep holding it up because I'm like, I want to see like what it looks like when I'm looking at it, not painting it. Uh-oh. Oh gosh. Oh my goodness. Okay. So this is what it's looking like. But then I'm going to get off live in a little bit, because I'm like way over. See, I'm happy I ate before I got on live, because I'm able to talk more to y'all. But I feel like I've been talking. Diplomatic Cigar says, nah. You're Jordan mad. Like, you just missed all of the great conversation we were just having. Oh my gosh. Well, it's okay. I'm gonna post the recap. Okay, let's see. I think what I might do is, this paint is just not, like, I'm having to go over in multiple layers, but it's not drying fast enough. I don't know. This music sounds like an after-school special. Literally, like, I wish I could play my own music. Okay, this is much better. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I get the copyright laws and stuff for YouTube and, like, posting music, but I also kind of don't really understand, because isn't that the whole point of making videos, to, like, share artistry and stuff? So if I use an artist, their music, like, it's not a good thing. But, okay. Like, at least, like, even if I, you know, were to credit it, but even still, they get so picky about that. So we have to make do. Okay, I'm just gonna go over some of the other areas. Because, like we said earlier, I want it to look fresh. I want it to look clean. So I'm so excited to step out with this bag. Like, y'all, you don't understand. I have not worn this bag in years. It was about to go into the donation pile, but then I said, stop. K-Spade is actually a nice brand. You know, like, maybe I could do something with this and still, like, make it into something more unique. Because I like to stand out. I don't like to, like, I know I wear, when I'm painting, y'all can't really get a good idea of my style, because I am just, like, wearing stuff that I don't mind messing up with paint, if that happens. But yeah, I like color. I feel like the style icons I like, 2010's Solange. She was just everything. Who else? There's not that many people whose style that I'm like, ooh, yes, I love it. Because it also depends on where I'm going. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just say Solange. Like, I feel like Solange has really impeccable taste and impeccable style. She's dope. Okay. I will purchase your book tomorrow, says CM. Like, thank you. Is it better from your website or Amazon? Let me put it this way. If you buy from Amazon, I get like a little bit less than half of what the retail price is. But if you buy directly from me, I make more money. So if you want me to have more money at the end of the day, which I could invest in my business, like every dollar counts, it is actually better to buy from my website. Thank you for asking that. I put the Amazon link because it's like pretty simple and straightforward, but buying happened. I think I got a call and it like disrupted the live or something. Might be. Well, it wasn't really my fault. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, so I'm not understanding why that even happened. But yeah, it does help when you buy directly from my website, because Amazon, I'm not gonna see that money. And also with Amazon, I don't get paid for like my purchases until like they pay the royalties from any purchases, which are not that much. They pay it like every 3 months. So it's like every 2 or 3 months, I should say. So yeah. The best way to support artists is to buy directly from them, man. Okay. It's very cute. Okay, so I think I'm going to go in with a different color. I'm going to see how this looks if I mix it with the pink. Ooh, do I like this color? It's not horrible, but it's not like all the way something I'm vibing with. I'm gonna add a little bit of purple and see what happens. Because I wanted the pops of pink, but not too much. And then after I finish this, I'm gonna get off live. Because it's already 6. Oh my gosh, we've been on here for a hot minute. And it's like just 4 of y'all, which Amen. Everything counts to me. It all counts. Okay. I'm not crazy about this color either. I think maybe I'll put a little bit of pink. Okay. I might have to put white. Ooh. Okay, this is cute. This is cute. Yeah, because I don't know, I kind of want to just add like a little bit more detail. But obviously still in the same color palette, if that makes sense. So this is the bluish purple I just added. And I think that looks good. I kind of mixed every color on the bag together to make that. Okay. But y'all, if you really vibe with my channel, thank you. The best way to support me is to buy my artwork or, you know, my book. But also, like I said earlier in the live, if there's a restaurant, venue, art gallery next to you in your city and you're like, yo, I want to see Odemi's work there, you can request and you can be one of my ambassadors. Like, it really helps artists, because think about it. When an artist, a musician tells you, yo, go, you know, listen to my single, it's like, okay, yeah. But if someone else says, yo, I really like this musician, like, go listen to them, you're probably more prone to go and listen. And I think it's just the psychology of like marketing. When people recommend something, I think like when people recommend something and they had no part in developing the product or the thing being recommended, it kind of just helps. So yeah, that's how y'all can help me. And I can do an art show in your city. Okay, Moises says, hola, hola Moises, welcome back. It's good to have you here. Good afternoon. Oh, it's good evening over here. Where are you? You're probably on the West Coast, aren't you? I feel like I'm on West Coast time. That's where I need to be. I was feeling drawn to like the Bay Area, but then I started reading Reddit posts of like Black women who live there, and I was like, ooh, maybe not. But I still do want to do something in the Bay. Like, I do want to do an art show there, because I just haven't spent time in that part of California before. But they lost me when they said it's like 60 degrees in the summer. I said, eh? Why? Okay. So this is what it's looking like. Wait, hold on. I can't even. I'm trying to read the chat. Let me pull it up on my laptop. Oh, Jalen, thank you. So Jalen says you have a wonderful channel and are very artistic. Thanks, I appreciate that. I'm glad to have you here as a new subscriber. Tell your friends. Tell your friends. Tell your siblings to subscribe. Moises says Western Time, San Diego. Oh yes, I think you've told me this. I like San Diego. I've had some good times there. Del Mar, love it there. Although I had some interesting experiences as well, but net positive. Net positive. Okay, Jalen says Frisco, Texas is a good place to. Okay. I haven't been there, but I've been to Dallas. I love Dallas. Are you in Texas? Right now, I'm based in Atlanta, but I will move anywhere. I told God, I said, God, take me where you want me to be. I will go. Like, I just want to live somewhere where, one, I can meet my soulmate, because love her, girl. Where I can meet my soulmate, be happy, you know, start a family, but then also like be able to be tapped into a developed art scene. Because I talked about this yesterday when I was in my feelings about Atlanta. Like, I think Atlanta's art scene is definitely up and coming, but I would love to be in a place where the art scene is like, it's already there. And I really vibe with Dallas. I think it's one of those places where they have such a cool, and it's like approachable. That's another thing. Like, I remember the art shows and the galleries I visited. It was so easy talking to the owners. There were Black woman gallery owners and stuff. And like, I remember I went to a gallery show here in Atlanta. This man is over here talking about, and this was a gallery who like at the time followed me on Instagram. This was before I deleted my personal Instagram and just like started all over with just a branded page. So if y'all do want to like, I'm growing my Instagram from scratch. Like, I made one for Alaere Lifestyle. You can follow me on Instagram. But he was like, yeah, we had an artist here. Because, we were talking about my art. He was looking at it and stuff. He was like, yeah, like, we have an artist here. Mind you, the show was not that diverse. I think there was like 2 Black women artists in the show. And everybody else was like white. And he was like, yeah, we have an artist here. It just takes time. Like, it took her 11 years to get into our gallery. And I was like, who you feeling like? 11 years? No, it's okay. Like, that's the thing. I feel like some people, like, obviously I know things take time, but like, when I did a gallery show, when I got into a gallery in Nashville, it was just like that. It was just like that, like no politics and stuff. And I think because the gallery scene is not that extensive in Atlanta, sometimes people let that power go to their head because they know like there's not that many art galleries here. So they be on the power trip, and I'm like, yeah, it's okay. It's fine. And that's kind of why I started my company and like rebranded this year, because before it was really not like, I didn't have like an online gallery. Like, it was just kind of like my portfolio in a way, and then you could maybe purchase my work. But now that's why I'm focused on doing my own branded art activations and like having essentially like my own gallery of my work. Okay, so this is what it's looking like. And then I will head off very soon. But yeah, if y'all really vibe with my artwork, you can purchase all of my pieces on my website, which is pinned. And also, I'll be launching commissions. So for like bags and stuff, and then I'll also have like ready to wear vintage pieces that I'm gonna source. I'm gonna start sourcing some like cool pieces and painting them. And then this will help me to be able to fund the expansion of my original designs, because I do sew and I've been like coming up with different patterns that I find flattering and elegant and beautiful. And so I'll be able to then, design my own original pieces with the real atelier and hand paint those, have my fabric printed with my original art. But that costs so much money to do. That costs so much money to do, but I still love fashion and I still want to be able to like show y'all what to expect. So I'm just priming you guys. This is a primer. It's a primer. Okay, like when you see these hand painted pieces, it's just an idea of what's to come from my own line. I hope that makes sense. So that's why I'm like starting off with the commissions. It's gonna cost money though. Like, don't expect it to be like, oh, $50. Like, no. Because y'all are seeing in real time how like long it takes me to do certain things. So let's just all respect ourselves. But okay, so I think I kind of want to put, I don't know, I feel like maybe this is fine. I don't know, something about this area I kind of want to like change a little bit. And then the pink and stuff is like, it's looking a little bit transparent. Okay. Jalen Davis says, I wish arts and social works and sciences were more available and accessible as well as sustainable. I agree. Like, if you're preaching to the choir, it literally feels like every day. Y'all, if you meet an artist, just give them a high five or something. We're trying our best, y'all, because this is not a career that, like, society wants you to do. Why do you think they're pushing all these AI artists all of a sudden? Like, people don't want to pay artists. They don't. And so you have to demand it. And that's what I was talking about earlier in the live, like learning how to sell and learning how to pitch yourself and be an owner. That's a really big thing. Owning your supply chain as an artist. And what do I mean, like owning your supply chain? It's kind of like when I was talking about Master P owning his, what is it called? Owning his masters. Or like, why do you think musicians, like, they fight so hard to own their masters? Because when you own the masters, you own the royalties of the distribution. And the same thing with art, like visual art. When you can have your own business through which you sell your art, you don't have to give 50%, yes, 50% of your profits to a gallery. And most of those galleries are not owned by us, okay? They're not owned by women. Most of them are not owned by Black people. They're owned by agents of all of these systems and paradigms that are thankfully crumbling. But yeah, like, not a good look. Okay, let's see. I'm going to add some detail. So I'm going to use like a smaller brush. Wait, how did I do this? I literally bent this brush. How did that happen? Okay, I'm not gonna use that one. I think I'm gonna use this one. Get into the nook and cranny. AI art, Jalen says, AI art is trash. Capital letters. Yo, I agree. Not even good. Yeah, I got a jump scare the other day because I'm just sitting watching, like, I think I was watching Teen Wolf, which just started getting scary, so I had to take a little break. But I was watching something, and then this really ugly advertisement that was obviously AI, like, they made these AI animals start talking. It was so ugly. Like, it was just genuinely an ugly commercial. And I told y'all, I worked at McCann, this advertising agency. And I'm like, you're telling me somebody approved of this? Like, the advertiser in me was like, yo, like, this is not it. It's just lazy. Like, and I think that everything we were talking about, you know, Black consciousness and all that, being able to put that into my artwork, you think AI can do that? No. Oh yeah, Jalen says, yeah, reminds me of TLC and Prince. Yeah, the masters conversation. Yeah, because it's like, we have to control our artistic supply chain. We have to. Artists need to own their means of production. We need to own our ability to, like, reach our customers on our own terms. Otherwise, it gets controlled by people who don't have your best interests at heart. I literally spent months legally fighting a gallery that damaged my artwork this year. I won, period, because they were wrong. I had to get legal counsel to help me because a gallery was ridiculous. And, like, I think a lot of artists get into bad management and, like, just really tricky partnerships and stuff like that. And it sucks. It really does suck. And, you know, luckily I have a network of people who could advise me and, like, represent me in court. But, like, the fact that I even had to get that far, you know, it's not cool. Okay, so anyways, just going over the pink areas because some of the under part was showing through. That's the thing. Like, I think that's also why some of this stuff takes a little bit longer, is that I have to keep going over certain parts over and over and over again. Um, Jalen says, this all goes back to my jealousy, envy, and insecurity statement earlier. Yeah, ooh, but the gallery that I had to sue, they were Black owned. But, like I said, some people, just the way that some, some women can be agents of the patriarchy, I think some Black people can be agents of the systems that white people have built. Like, I remember I took this class in undergrad. I think it was, because I remember we were in Barbados and like we did this research partnership with the National Museum of Barbados. So it was like a really interdisciplinary course. And we were talking about decolonization of material culture and stuff like that. And like my professor was like, Barbados has a really interesting history. You should go look it up. But basically, there were people who left Barbados and went to Liberia. And if you don't know the history of Liberia, it was essentially freed slaves that, went back, and that's how Liberia was formed. And some Bayesian people, this was like a long time ago, also went back to Liberia. But a lot of tension started happening because they started enacting the same discriminatory practices that were enacted against them during slavery and like colonialism. And so my teacher was talking about why this happened even though everybody was Black. And it's because just because you're free doesn't mean that you're on the right side of history. Like, your freedom is only as potent as your freedom is only as valuable as what you choose to do with it. So it's like, if someone is Black and placed in a position of power and they just use that power to oppress other Black people, I'm not going to applaud you just for, being a leader if you're not doing anything right with that leadership. And so the same can be said for a lot of Black artists and business owners who have done nothing to positively enact change in our communities. Like, I'm not gonna applaud you just for, winning at capitalism. It's game theory. Anybody can win at capitalism. It doesn't make you exceptional. It just makes you a good capitalist, which I'm not anti-capitalist, but I do think that we're not even doing capitalism right. Like, the invisible hand where? The invisible hand has nowhere to freely move if it's being, if it's being manipulated by racism and prejudice. Like, free markets are supposed to be free markets. And I think, artists should take advantage of that on our own terms. Okay. So let's check into the chat. Jalen Davis says, well, I'm definitely going to look into that. Yeah, the history of Liberia is very interesting. Look up the history of Liberia. Look up Barbados and Liberia. Very, very interesting. I think, I wish more global Black history was taught in classes, but we all know why. We all know why it isn't. So I'm going to do my part to share. But okay, y'all, I'm getting a little tired. So I'm tired of talking. That's really just all it is. We've had such a great conversation. I feel like I've been on live for it's been 3 hours, and I didn't even realize. I had a good time. I was painting this. So this is the bag. Let me stand up and show you guys. Oops, sorry. Yay! Very cute, very cute, very cute. Yay! Okay, so this side of the bag, I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do just yet, but I don't feel like standing on live and trying to staying on live and trying to figure it out. But yeah, I feel like this is good. I don't want to make it I don't want to do too much. So I think maybe on this side I might do flowers or something, something abstract. And yeah, but thank you so much for engaging in the chat, y'all. Go check out my artwork at the pinned link. And then what else? This is how I know I'm getting sleepy. Oh yes, my book. Let me get over here. Wait, hold on real quick. Force of Nature. You can check out my book. I'll put the link to check it out on my website because someone did ask, and Amazon does take a huge cut when you buy from Amazon. So I'll put the link to buy it on my website as well. But yeah, like I would say my book, my artwork, everything, that's the best way to support me as an artist. And let's see what else. If you want to, you know, support my channel and support my mission here, my Cash App is, or my company's Cash App, it's not my personal Cash App. My company's Cash App is in the description, $Alaere Lifestyle. And all donations, everybody will be able to get a small print of my artwork. Every time you send a donation, like you will be able to get that. Any gifts of over $20 will put you in the running to win an original painting. So yeah, that's that. I think, what else do I need to say? Oh yeah, subscribe. But I'm really happy to be able to have this platform and to speak with y'all. Jalen, thanks for, you know, being a new subscriber. It's been really cool talking to you. CM Mike, if you're still on, don't forget to email me. We'll discuss further. And yeah, all right, y'all. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you. I'll see y'all tomorrow at 3 p.m. 3 p.m.